Hey, y'all, what's up?
Hey, what's that?
What y'all getting?
Listen, I've been waiting to march down some lobster, yeah?
Hi, I'm Matthew. I will be you guys' waiter today. Can I take your order?
Oh, I've been chewing for some grouper dread.
Y'all see this?
See, this ain't gonna work.
Where the fish gone, though?
But how though?
Don't leave our children with no fish in their future. Protect our sea. Protect our way of life. Protect the Bahamas. To learn how you can help, find us on Facebook at Bahamas Protected. See the future.
After 66 steps, I'm Matea Cunningham. This is ZNS.
It's What's Trending with Jiminita Swain and the Bahama Beauty at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas from Studio A. It all starts right now.
Inspiration, education, and just a little dash of purpose, because why not have it all? That's what today's show is serving up. It's Thursday, April 9th, and you're locked into What's Trending. I'm Jiminita Swain, and trust me, you're going to want to stay right where you are, because we're going all the way in today. Ever wonder what really goes on behind a teacher's desk? Well, one educator is pulling back the curtains, helping parents support learning from home with real, practical advice you can actually use. Then, when love meets advocacy, change happens. We're sitting down with a remarkable young student and his mom who are championing inclusion and inspiring their community. And as we wrap up, global tensions are pushing oil prices higher, and the effects could be felt right here at home. We zero in economics. That and so much more on the other side of the break. You're watching What's Trending.
Oh, isn't that nice? Wait, you missed it? You haven't been on the website. Here's how TDC can help you. Whether you're turning your home into a vacation rental, pitching a business idea, or growing what you've already started, the TDC is here to help. Visit tdcbahamas.com for every conversation, event, grant, and opportunity happening near you. Tourism is all of our business, and the TDC is here to support yours.
Tired of looking at the same old kitchen? Step 1. Our talented recommended designer Mark crafts a custom design just for you. Step 2. Once your design is ready, CBS Bahamas makes ordering effortless. Your dream kitchen is within reach. Step 3. Our recommended installers bring your vision to life, ensuring every detail is perfectly in place. Sit back and relax as your dream space becomes a reality. Visit cbsbahamas.com and start bringing your home improvement dreams to life today.
Teachers wear many hats, but one educator is stepping outside the classroom to support learning at home. Through an online series called The Teaching Diary, educator Melinda Whitney is helping parents better prepare their children for classroom instruction with practical tips and real insight into what happens behind the desk. She joins us now to tell us more. Welcome back to What's Trending, Melinda.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be back.
Always a pleasure to have you here with us. So, Melinda, let's start at the beginning. How did the idea for this teaching diary come about?
Well, I guess being a parent, first of all, and then education, I feel that parenting is our greatest assignment. And for the most part, no parent wants to get it wrong, right? We all want to get it right. But sometimes you realize that parents just don't have the skills and that they need. So I thought of, in education, I've been dealing with parents over 30-something years. I said, you know what? Let me just think of some quick little pointers to get the message across about parenting and to try and make it a little bit more easier and relatable to parents, of course.
So for those who may not be familiar, what exactly is the teaching diary and what kind of content do you share?
Well, the teaching diary has what I like to say, pointers about preparation for children to grow strong children in school, in their interactions with peers, even with adults. So sometimes the lines could be along manners and respect. And I'm just teaching them that manners still matters, and helping parents to know that teaching your children manners and respect is actually your responsibility. It's not the school, and that's something that should be taught at home. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So obviously this sounds like it really focuses on the parents. So why was it so important for you to create something that bridges the gap between home and the classroom?
Well, first of all, home is an extension of the classroom. We work together.
Yeah.
So whatever's happening in the home, the school kinds of bridge it. We don't want to say it, but that's what is happening. And whatever is taught in the home, it usually
shows up
in the classroom. Regardless of how we want to think or what we feel about it, it shows up in the classroom.
So what has been the response like so far from parents or even fellow teachers?
The response has been very good. Parents have been saying they appreciate it. And because the clips are like less than a minute, so it's like quick. You don't have time to really
get bored or distracted.
I give a good strong hook, get you to listen, and then I deliver the message. And sometimes parents will be like, I didn't think about that, but it's true. So it's been really good.
Sounds like you are definitely doing your job. So have you noticed then any changes in students whose parents have engaged more after using your tips? Any changes?
Well, from the reviews I've been getting, parents, some have been like, I never even thought about that. And some have been out. No, I get it, and I'll try. So it's been some good reviews I've been getting, and so that's very encouraging.
Yeah, that's great news.
Definitely.
And you talk about maximizing the instruction time. Why is that so critical in today's classrooms?
Well, in terms of getting the information across, everybody's busy.
You're right.
So nobody wants to listen to a long, drawn out. No, it's like, I got your ears. Give me 40, 50 seconds, get the message, and let's see how we can progress with it. In and out.
In and out.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. And obviously, then in the classroom, it'll make your job even easier.
Definitely, because if parents are taking heed to the tips, no parent want to be like, I don't want to be guilty, and I don't want Miss Whitney be looking at me side-eye, so I'm going to make sure that when you go to school in the morning, you remember, it's good morning.
Correct.
Thank you. So it's working, and I see it. So
all right, I like that.
Yeah.
So what are then some simple things that parents can start doing right now to better prepare their children for learning each day?
Well, I like to look at it as with our children because, you want to see the child. If you want to know what a child is like, start with the home. So at home, anything that we want to portray as a parent, positive, and it also happens negatively, I might say, but anything that we want to foster in our children to display in the classroom, we start at home. So we start with the little small things like, remember in the mornings, you're going to school to do your work. If you have a question, don't be afraid to ask, because that's what school is all about. No question is a dumb question. If you feel like you're being misunderstood, speak up, not rudely. And for the most part, it's just
It sounds like fundamental messages that you are reinforcing. So looking ahead, how do you see the teaching diary evolving and what impact do you hope that it continues to have?
Well, what I'm working on right now actually is a manual.
Okay.
So along with the teaching diary, I'm hoping to create a manual, a parent manual, with tips, different topics, but tips to help parents navigate their greatest task and responsibility, which is parenting.
That sounds great. So such valuable insight and a great reminder that education truly works best when parents and teachers work together. Yes. So thank you so much, Melinda, for the work you are doing and continue to do well.
And thank you for having me once again.
Always a pleasure.
Hope to be back very soon.
All right. I like that. From supporting our children in the classroom to empowering them beyond it. We now turn to a powerful story of advocacy and inclusion. That's up next.
Wait, where you grabbing all these pizzas, boy?
Wait, Marcos, wait. We have a special on all the large one-topping pizzas, wait.
Pineapple.
All.
Barbecue.
All. Hey, VAT included, but.
I need the $10 special plate.
How many would you like?
20 in it. Thank you so much, man. $10, that's it. The Marcos got that deal, boy.
I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak. Out together, dancing cheek to cheek.
I'm Jordan, by the way. Tom.
We now turn to a powerful story of advocacy, resilience, and purpose. We're joined by an inspiring mother and son, both using their voices to champion inclusion for persons with disabilities. Chanel Robinson is an educator, advocate for the deaf and hard of hearing, and a voice for change, while her 12-year-old son, Travian, is already leading with the message of inclusion beyond his years. Together, they are challenging us all to do better. So, welcome to What's Trending, Chanel and Travian.
Thank you for inviting us to be here.
It's great to have both of you here with us. So, Chanel, we're going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about your journey now. We know that you were diagnosed with a hearing loss at a very young age. What was that experience like for you, and how did it shape who you are today?
Well, it was a very traumatic experience because, like Travian, I was very extroverted. I loved clubs, I played basketball, I played softball, all of the sports, but nobody really knew what was going on with me because I didn't want everybody to know, because I didn't want to be teased. Okay. And during that time, hearing aids didn't look like what they look like today.
No, they were very visible.
Yes. You know, sometimes students are not as nice, and I didn't want to risk being teased. I didn't want to risk being labeled as different, and so nobody knew. I never wore them, but I was told very recently that they knew something was wrong with me because I always like, "What you said? Repeat that." Even sometimes in math classes, it was very hard, and I sat at the back. The teacher didn't really know, and I had to strain and rely on the person sitting next to me just to kind of keep up with what was going on in the class, everything the teacher said, to try to understand it. So it was very challenging. It was difficult. I still had a social life as a high school, junior school student because nobody knew. I was just too afraid.
But you didn't let that stop you, though.
No, I didn't let that stop me.
And that's a good thing. Yeah. Obviously, it definitely impacted Travian. So, Travian, you have a very interesting mantra that we like. You say, inclusion starts with me, change begins with us. So what does that mean to you?
It basically means that I can start off saying that inclusion starts with me. I can start off with inclusion, but to really spread the word, I'm gonna need all of your help. That only way I can spread the voice if all of us can come together.
Okay.
And speak as one voice.
That is very important. So why do you think people like yourself should understand that message?
I feel like that it's good to learn about inclusion at a young age, because if you learn it at a young age, it would be more easier to learn about like new stuff about inclusion more quickly. But as an adult, if you learn it late, it'll be kind of a little harder for you to learn it, while if you learn it at a youth age.
Why was it important for you then to instill this message in Travian so he understands? And you talk about the wider society, but to see him as your son being such a strong advocate, what does that do for you?
Well, I think it's a powerful thing. First of all, because I am that community. I may not be deaf, but I've been suffering with profound hearing loss from grade 9, and it's not getting better. It's actually getting worse. And so therefore, at some point in time, I will possibly become deaf. Then what? What will he do? What will the people who rely on me for services do? And so it's important that we teach our children that differences does not make you bad. Differences does not mean that you can't be included. Differences simply means that we need to find ways to remove the barriers and make sure that everyone is involved, everyone is heard.
Even as an educator, can you share why inclusion then is still such a challenge in our society?
Of my opinion, right? I think it has not necessarily been embraced. We have the laws exist. The enforcement is happening, but not necessarily as much as we would like it to. And it has to be real. Right now, I think it's just in the textbook. It's not a real thing until someone in our family is affected.
This is true.
And so because of that, everything is just theoretical right now. And but what we're saying is that, and actually the World Health Organization says that by 2050, about 2.5 million people, if you put that into context of our population, that's 1 in every 4 persons we meet will have some degree of hearing loss, with 7 million having profound hearing loss issues. And so therefore, what does that mean? Are we going to wait until 2050? This is 2026.
We need to get.
So that means when Travian is 30-something and Trevon, my youngest son, is 21, you're talking about 1 in every 4 persons having hearing. So what are we doing now to prepare for that?
Well, we know that you're also working on research involving AI and sign language. So how can technology to help break down communication barriers?
And the thing is, this is powerful. And anybody who wish to learn more about how they can do this, they can definitely reach out to me to support this effort. Because there is an AI tool that actually takes everything that's written, everything that's spoken audio, and convert it to American Sign Language or British Sign Language.
So Travian, let's bring you back into the discussion now. If there is one thing that you want people that are watching right now to take away about inclusion, what would that be?
The message.
That the message I'm saying is that inclusive spaces matter. Like you've been saying, what you've been talking about, that first, it is the law that mostly every building, what you make in the Bahamas, should have at least one detail to help disabled people access the building. And second, it's a human right.
And what about you, Charnel? What's your one takeaway for persons that are watching us right now?
Well, for me, I would like us in the Commonwealth to begin to look at disability inclusion from a more serious lens.
Okay.
Specifically as it relates to special services, healthcare, banking, and not just for the deaf and hard of hearing, but for persons who might be on the spectrum, persons who might be blind. We really need to start to rethink what we're doing in this Bahama land, because these people exist.
Powerful message. So thank you both for sharing your story with us and also your message. Thank you, Travian and Chanel.
And thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate that, because not a lot of people like talking. They're not open to talking about this because this is a very sensitive matter. So thank you.
We're doing what we can.
Thank you so much.
Well, obviously, it's a powerful reminder that inclusion isn't just an idea, it's a responsibility that we all share. So from powerful personal stories of advocacy and inclusion, we now turn to another important pillar of our society, justice and community service. That's on the other side of the break.
heaven. I'm in heaven. And my heart beats so that I can hardly speak. Out together, dancing cheek to cheek.
I'm Jordan, by the way. Tom.
As a part of strengthening justice, fairness, and community service in the Bahamas, the National Association of Justices of the Peace is hosting Conclave 2026, an annual gathering of people who serve communities across the nation in legal and peacekeeping roles. Joining us today to tell us more about this event and its mission and its impact is Association President Dr. Devin Rule. Welcome to What's Trending.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be with you this evening.
It's a pleasure to have you here with us. So let's start at the beginning, Dr. Rule, for viewers who may not fully understand what exactly is a Justice of the Peace and what role do they play in our communities?
So traditionally, Justices of the Peace were referred to as peacekeepers. This is out of the British tradition. Out of the 14th century. In the Bahamas, we have adopted the practice, and JPs really help with the administration of justice in our country in a minor sense, but very important role. Some of the things that the JPs do range from administering oaths to authenticating documents, signing warrants and summonses, and of course, they're in communities where they sometimes give minor advice to persons who don't know how to deal with certain forms and procedures. So they help with the administration of justice in our country.
Okay, and I think this is the first time that you're having a conclave of this magnitude. So what is Conclave 2026, and why is it important for Justices of the Peace to come together for this event?
Well, this is a mammoth undertaking. It's the first of its kind in our country. When I came into office 3 years ago as the president of the National Association of Justices of the Peace, they were saying to me that unofficially we had some 4,000, maybe more JPs in the country. In recent times, our governments, successive governments, have been aggressively appointing JPs throughout our country. So we may be anywhere between 5,000 and 6,000. That's a lot of
people.
Of lay magistrates walking around our country, serving in various capacities. We think that it's important that JPs unite. We think that it's important that JPs really consider becoming a part of the association, because just a very small percentage of JPs are in our association. Let me just take this opportunity to credit founding president, Mr. Philip Archer, assisted by Hilton McIntosh. They saw the wisdom in 2009 to organize this association, because they said to themselves, everybody else has an association for which they can get counsel, which they can get precedents, and they thought it was necessary for JPs to be so organized. And so this is one of the things that the association offers to JPs out there, because many of them get appointed. There's no legal requirement for training. So that's huge, because you have this huge power and you don't know how to function in it properly. So the association provides training, and we also provide a network where JPs can call upon senior JPs for assistance like lawyers would do when they want legal precedent.
Makes a lot of sense. So can you share some of the key activities or discussions or even sessions that you have planned for the conclave this year? Like, what should attendees expect?
Yes. So attendees, first of all, we're asking all JPs to come to the conclave. It's April 10th, Friday, at the BCPOU Hall. It begins at 10 a.m. proper, but we're asking JPs to be there from 9 a.m. Those who have registered already, the benefit is, one, there's free breakfast. That's a huge benefit.
Food is an attraction, I get you.
Indeed. And then those who haven't officially registered, because even up until minutes just now, people were still calling me who have not registered. You know, the Bahamian way, they wait for last minute. So we anticipate some people will probably walk in wanting to register as well. And so that will take place during the 9 to 9:45 period. We have been graced with Her Excellency, the Governor General. She's going to be in attendance. So when she arrives at 10 or just before, everybody needs to be in place. Then we will have an opening ceremony. This opening ceremony is going to be, if I can use this word, fantabulous. We have a great keynote speaker in the person of our new acting chief magistrate, Ancella Evans, who is a fantastic speaker. We actually went to COB together in the 90s. I won't say which part of the 90s, but she spoke when Nelson Mandela visited the Bahamas after he was released. She did an excellent job, so we're looking forward to her presentation in her capacity.
Sounds like a very, very busy day. So just remind our viewers where and when the event is taking place again.
So the event, once again, is taking place at the BCPOU Hall in Farrington Road. Everybody knows where that is. We're asking all JPs to be there from 9 a.m. The opening ceremony begins at 10 a.m. The Governor General is our featured guest in the room. She's honoring us with her presence. The acting chief magistrate will be speaking. We have a high school band. Aaron Billy Band is going to be playing the national anthem for us. And we're going to be there's a big reveal of something that we're preparing that's going to benefit JPs and the local community. I want to keep that a secret. So
you'll be in the house 9 o'clock. Be there before the Governor General arrives.
That is. And
I got you.
For those, can I say this? Those who can't make it for the entire event, I want to insist that they come during the 1 to 3 hour, because that's the working session. The last part of the session, they'll have an opportunity to actually ask questions that their concerns concerning the bill or any JP function that they're concerned about.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rowe, for joining us today and sharing your insights, and I wish you a successful conclave.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor being on this very popular show.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
Economics, presented by Sand Dollar, the digital Bahamian dollar.
Rising global tensions are now hitting closer to home, this time at the pump. Oil prices are on the rise again, and experts warn it could soon impact everything from transportation to the cost of everyday goods. Here's a closer look in this week's Economics at what's driving the increase and what it could mean for you. Oil prices are climbing once again, now topping $100 a barrel as tensions in the Middle East raise concerns about global supply. For countries like the Bahamas, which rely heavily on imported fuel, the effects can be felt quickly, especially at the gas pump. But it doesn't stop there. Higher fuel costs often lead to increased prices across the board, from food and electricity to transportation and services. That's because businesses also pay more to move goods, and those costs are often passed on to the consumers. So what's behind the spike? Ongoing geopolitical tensions and uncertainty around key oil routes have raised fears of supply disruptions, pushing prices higher on the global market. And while global events may feel far away, the impact is anything but. For many households, it could mean tightening budgets as fuel and food costs begin to climb. So what can you do? Experts suggest small changes can help offset rising costs, like carpooling or combining trips, monitoring fuel usage, and being mindful of energy consumption at home. While prices remain unpredictable, one thing is clear: what happens globally continues to shape the cost of living right here at home. And with summer travel on the horizon, many will be watching those prices even more closely. That's been your Economics.
Mailboat service is a critical service to the islands of the Bahamas. Certainly, Andrews has always been there and dear to us. That's where we're born and raised. And so we play a crucial role in advancing the growth and development of Andrews. Customers want service and they want consistency. From the start, that's been our commitment. We work to sail on time every time. Our customers have come now to expect this from us. And one of the biggest challenges we've had was finding adequate funding. SPDC from the very start has been a lifesaver. My advice to young people: if you have a vision, a passion, an idea, go for it. Don't give up. It's not easy. If it was, everybody would be doing it. Be consistent and you'll get there.
Thanks for tuning in this week. Remember, life's better when it's trending. Stay connected with us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS. We'll see you right back here on Monday at 6 p.m. Until then, have an amazing weekend. Stay safe, stay inspired, and of course, keep trending.
Hi, this is Spence Finlayson, the Bishop of Motivation, Alpis and Diana Finlayson's last child, and host of Immediate Response on the ZNS network. Be sure to tune in every weekday, Monday through Friday, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon for Immediate Response on the ZNS network.
At Bahama Boulevard, I'm Sean Innes. This is ZNS.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest. Thank you so much for tuning in. New development announced today for the Grand Lucayan Resort, with a major player now officially on board. The cruise division of MSC Group has agreed to develop an MSC Beach Club on a portion of the property, a move government officials are calling a significant step forward in the long-anticipated redevelopment. Officials are also commending Concord, Wilshire, and CTL Maritime for forging the new partnership. Romiko Knowles reports.
In a statement released, CTL Maritime, in partnership with the government of the Bahamas, announced plans to acquire and develop a defined 20-acre portion of the Grand Lucayan property. The site, currently occupied by the Reef Village, will be transformed into a purpose-built beach club designed specifically for guests of MSC cruises and explorer journeys. The development is expected to expand Grand Bahamas tourism product while driving increased international visitor arrivals to the island. Officials say the project will create hundreds of jobs, both during construction and after completion, with opportunities for skilled training and long-time workforce development. Work is expected to begin as early as April 12th, pending the necessary environmental and regulatory approvals. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis calling the agreement a defining moment for Grand Bahama, saying the redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan has remained a national priority. He adds that the project reflects the government's commitment to restoring the island as a leading tourism and investment destination, while creating jobs and new opportunities for Bahamians. Officials add that this project joins a series of major investments, including the Freeport Harbor expansion, Ocean Key Phase 3, and other developments, signaling strong investor confidence in Grand Bahama.
We experienced it in 2014 with Bahama, and what you see in Bahama today is 3 different product offerings, and so this is just one product offering that will do wonders for Grand Bahama. And as Director of Investments, I'm excited about it, not so much just for this investment, but the other investments that will come after it.
Addressing ongoing questions about the Grand Lucayan project, the Director of Investments, Felicia Hannah Woods, outlining why certain details have not yet been made public.
Transactions of this magnitude, one thing I'd like to say is that the public should be sensitized to how sensitive they are, and because of that there has to be a level of confidentiality. I know because this has been a project in the making for a number of years. I understand the eagerness of the public, but to not compromise the partnerships or the potential partnerships that we are trying to foster. It's difficult to, at this juncture, really disclose who those partners are.
The Progressive Liberal Party is making its case to voters, with Prime Minister Philip Davis highlighting his administration's track record and progress on campaign promises at a major campaign event as the race toward the general election heats up. Shalia Rule reports.
The governing Progressive Liberal Party is touting its record in office as Prime Minister Philip Davis outlined what he says is significant progress on campaign promises during the party's Blueprint for Change event.
Tonight, we will release our Blueprint Tracker. This is an online tracking tool which will allow the Bahamian people to see every single commitment we made in our Blueprint for Change. Out of the 387 commitments we made in our Blueprint for Change, 325 were completed or in progress.
Davis also spoke candidly about the challenges of governance, pointing to what he described as a recurring cycle of administrations changing every 5 years. The Prime Minister argues that this pattern can slow national development.
That cycle of change has held the Bahamas back for too long. One administration starts the work, another comes in and stops it. Projects slow down. Plans are shelved. Momentum is broken. And the people are left waiting while politics starts all over again.
During his address, the Prime Minister also took aim at the opposition, Free National Movement, highlighting several of their campaign promises made during their recent launch. He questions the feasibility of those proposals, contrasting them with what he says is his administration's proven track record.
When they come asking for your vote, ask them, what is your plan? They may give you free gas today. Or they give you $200 tomorrow. But what is their plan? Do they have the credibility to deliver on that plan?
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Rule.
Also from the Blueprint for Change event, government officials outlining key initiatives aimed at transforming Grand Bahama's economy, from engagement with licensees to major infrastructure projects and the proposed acquisition of the Grand Bahama Power Company. Officials say these efforts form a part of a broader strategy to drive sustained growth and long-term stability on the island. Here's a look at what's on the table in this report.
We will meet with Grand Bahama Port Authority licensees to develop a roadmap for development and to secure annual payments and arrears from the GBPA through the second phase of arbitration.
Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, says a government plan aims to deliver visible development across the Family Islands. During the launch of the Progressive Liberal Party's Blueprint for Progress, turning his focus on Grand Bahama, he points to the island's economic strengths and revealed plans to meet with the Grand Bahama Port Authority licensees to develop a clear roadmap for growth.
Grand Bahama carries too much promise to drift. So we intend to help write a new chapter for that island.
He adds that the government is moving ahead with the new state-of-the-art Freeport Health Campus, the International Airport, and the Grand Lucayan redevelopment.
We are delivering the most significant transformation of our energy system in a generation because the Bahamian people deserve power that is reliable, affordable, and built to last.
Attention is also turning to the country's energy challenges. Energy Minister, the Honorable Jobath Colby Davis, highlighting the government's latest effort to bring the nation's second city under a unified energy regimen.
We will no longer be a fragmented energy system. We are one country with one direction and one standard for reliability, pricing, and service.
Well, the election timeline is set. The deadline for voter registration has officially closed following the dissolution of Parliament on April 8th. The writ of election has now been issued, setting the stage for the next phase of the electoral process. Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson confirming that nomination day will be held on April 16th, 2026. On that day, candidates from all constituencies will formally submit their nomination papers, declaring their intent to contest seats in the upcoming general election. It also marks the official finalization of all candidates, with ballots then being prepared. Advanced polling day is set for April 30th. This is when certain groups, including uniformed officers, election workers, and other approved persons, will cast their ballots ahead of general election day, ensuring they are able to perform their duties on May 12. Both milestones signal that the country is now firmly on the road to general election day. Tonight, the investigation into the disappearance of Lynette Hooker is deepening as police zero in on key details days after she was reported missing at sea in Abaco. Authorities have since detained her husband for questioning, while family members continue to press for a more thorough probe into the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. And tonight, his attorney is speaking with ZNS News. Our Shalia Roll is on the ground in Abaco with the details. Shalia?
Jolanda, the investigation into the disappearance of Lynette Hooker is intensifying. This as new developments emerge just days after she was reported missing at sea.
I believe something might have happened to her before she was in the water. So I would just like to know exactly what happened to get some closure on this.
Police say the incident happened on Saturday, April 4th, when her husband, Brian Hooker, claimed she fell overboard from an 8-foot dinghy while the couple was traveling in Abaco. Since her disappearance, family members, including her daughter, Carly Alsworth, are calling for a deeper, more thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding the incident.
He was there for over 3 hours. He left, and then after he left, he was asked to return, and he was told that he needed to give additional statements. He was subsequently arrested.
Days later, the focus has shifted to her husband. Local authorities have called Brian Hooker in for questioning, not once but twice, according to his attorney, Terrell Butler, who says her client has been fully cooperative with investigators.
I was told that he would have had an interview in Abaco sometime today. However, late last night, after purchasing my ticket for Abaco, I was told that he would be interviewed in Grand Bahama. So I am here in Grand Bahama waiting for him to be transported to Grand Bahama so that the interview can be conducted.
The attorney is also confirming that Brian Hooker is currently being detained by police, and while there is speculation he could be brought to Grand Bahama to appear before a court, it remains unclear whether any formal charges have been filed.
He has not been charged, and the normal custom is that once a person is in custody, there's a formal interview that is done before any decision is made to either charge or release the person. And so he has not done that formal interview as yet. When he went in yesterday, he gave a statement voluntarily in his capacity.
Now, Jolanda, as the investigations continue, questions still linger, and the family, they still hold on to hope in this case that shocked the nation. Coming to you live in Abaco for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Shalia Roll, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Shalia. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
Step into a life of luxury and convenience with the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card. From earning premium cashback rewards on every dollar spent to enjoying comprehensive travel insurance, shop with confidence, knowing your purchases are protected. Our Platinum Concierge service turns your requests into reality, wherever life takes you. Let the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card be your passport to exceptional experiences. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Dolly Madison.
Art Lucaya, the Grand Bahama Art Festival, presents Dream Big, April 17th to the 19th at the Mosaic Art Hub. Get your tickets now at art.tickets.com. Support local art. Proceeds benefit high school art programs.
Save more drugs, from cosmetics to prosthetics. What you need for your family, the brands you're looking for, the quality you expect, vitamins you need, and prescriptions you came for. Feel the love. Save more at Save More Drugs.
A storied party falling apart. F&M's fleeing. Chaos. Confusion. Even court battles. What's happening with the F&M is sad. Divided. Directionless. Dysfunctional. The ones left behind won't admit it, but it's chaos inside. They say a fish rots from the head down. If Michael Pintard can't keep his own party together, how can he run an entire country?
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. Bahamian glamour awaits as the exquisite catamaran center's Miss Teen Universe Bahamas preliminary competition contestants take over Grand Bahama. From the islands to the runway, teens from across the Bahamas gear up for a pageant weekend in Grand Bahama. Our Charlia Jones has more in this report.
The esteemed Quest for the Crown pageant contingent gracing Grand Bahama today, treating locals and visitors alike to a glimpse of their poise, charm, and beauty. Their arrival marking the start of a packed day of activities across the island. After departing the Grand Bahama International Airport, contestants began their day with a delectable breakfast at Wendy's Freeport, courtesy of a strategic partnership between the pageant organizers and the renowned fast food chain. The group enjoyed food and fellowship before heading out to St. George's High School, where the contestants showed their support ahead of the upcoming pageant this Saturday. The visit highlighting not just beauty, but mentorship, confidence, and community impact.
My message to you guys is to never give up. God is within you, you cannot fail.
The morning festivities continuing with a visit to a local boutique where the girls were treated to personalized fittings in preparation for the exquisite Catamaran Center's fashion show by Ashes Beauty, an event scheduled for this Saturday evening, which would allow participants to showcase their beauty and passion for fashion. The girls ended their morning by paying a courtesy call to the Ministry for Grand Bahama, engaging in thoughtful discussions with the minister, who stressed the vital role of government support in fostering community development and preserving cultural heritage.
It's times like this where we want our young people to know that we support them and that we will support organizations that uplift them. You can do anything and be anything that you want to be. I have my own journey, and if I believe if I can do it, they can do it too. So I just want to encourage them to know that they do have the support system. They're part of a wonderful organization. They come from very, very resilient islands. And so I just want them to know that they can do anything that they want to do.
This Friday night, contestants will take stage at the Regency Theater in the exquisite Catamaran's Miss Teen Universe Bahamas preliminary competition. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Charlia Jones.
ACD Home Medical Supplies is celebrating and expanding its services, now offering a physical therapy in an effort to meet a growing need in Grand Bahama. Business owner Catrice Robinson says, in addition to serving the medical equipment needs of the community, the goal was also to assist those with therapeutic needs. Local doctor and physical therapy patient Dr. Dawn Gallagher says her experience was overwhelmingly positive.
We were the first medical store in Grand Bahama, and the need was great. There was no other medical store in Grand Bahama. By trade, I am a physical therapist, so it was only fitting for me to extend the physical therapy service in the medical supply store.
we forget that these bodies are not meant to last forever. And so sometimes we have ailments, and it's not always especially coming from a physician, sometimes it seems a little odd, but it's not always the medications that we could take to get better. A lot of times it's the hands-on approach through things like physiotherapy and rehab.
Additional testimonies from patients of ACD therapy services say that the hands-on approach has been transformative, making a life-changing difference in their overall mobility.
I came here actually in a wheelchair, unable to walk, and from day one, the professionalism and the care and the commitment was very, very, very outstanding.
I could barely walk because I lost all of the muscles in my knee. I was sent to Coatries by Dr. Lockhart. I came here in September, and now this is March, and I'm walking without the cane. And so I thank God for Coatries and the services that she offers here.
Tonight we salute our Facebook friend of the day. Thank you so much for your support. And not to look at stories making news, Matthew, what's happening in sports?
The rain didn't stop no show as our track and field athletes from Carifta came home to a very warm welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matthew. Don't go away, sports. Come to our next right after this break.
See news in the making? Call us at 352-9713 or 359-5167, or you can email us at zns3news@gmail.com.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I still want to put shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
And I still want to put shoes on your feet.
We still want to put shoes on your feet.
2 locations to put shoes on your feet. Downtown Freeport, and now our newest location in the Carmichael City Shopping Plaza, right behind the Walk Up Wendy's, Carmichael Road West.
At Save More Drugs, we got you. We got what you want. We got what you need. We got what you came for. The quality you expect. The prices you need and deserve. Save more at Save More Drugs.
This is definitely the time for BAMSI to continue to build on the progress that we've made. There's now drone technology. There's now year-round container farming. You have hydroponics. You have aquaponics. You have precision farming. There have been record numbers of enrollments, record numbers of flat fishing certifications. We've had record enrollments in our online courses. Students from across the family of islands. Because in BAMSI, we're not just cultivating produce. We're cultivating producers.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the ZNS Sports Cave. I'm Matthew Martin Burr. It was a long Easter weekend on the Carifta track for our Bahamian athletes in Grenada, but it was an all-out celebration as the Stars received their hard-earned warm welcome back home. Speaking with some of the first-time competitors, they say the experience is one for a lifetime.
It gave me a better experience to show I got to work hard and have a better competition. I was sick during the experience, but I still did it, gone out there, did my thing, made it to the finals, and I feel like next year I'll come back harder and better.
I love feel of the atmosphere and the track over there, and it's very hot, I can be honest, very hot over there. But the experience was amazing overall.
I really trained for this. I really trained really hard, so it came easy. But the one, so they messed up on. But they coming back though.
It was a wonderful experience. I'm glad I got to experience it because now I know how it feels and I know how to be better for next time.
As for the veterans, they're shifting their focus on future events like the fast-approaching Nationals and the August-slated NACAC Championships.
Just focus on my training. We got World Juniors in August. We got NACAC. We got plenty more big meets coming up. So, crypto's like one of the first meets in the early season. So, just to see where you're at, basically. So, just keep training and stay focused.
The work never stops. I can't just go home and not do anything. I have to go right back to practice, get done what I need to get done, fix what I have to fix, and just go into nationals with the same mindset to just be the best that I can be.
Now, I just have to condition, recover, and stay sharp. And for the next 4 days, going into nationals for a week, and hopefully I get some better performances.
And finishing the fast break is Night League basketball. Following a shocking Game 1 loss, the Dudley Boys Saints were able to claim Game 2 in the championship series in convincing fashion, 82-72 over the New Era Gym Rats. Mikael Bethel led the way for the Saints with 20 points and 14 rebounds. Gym Rats' Regis Cooper did his best with 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals in his performance in the loss. Game 3 will tip off at the St. George's Gymnasium on Friday night at 7:30. And with that, your evening sports final whistle blows. Your local forecast is next. I'm Matthew Martinborough, and I'll see you on the sideline.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
Save more drugs. We got you. From cosmetics to prosthetics. What you need for your family. The brands you're looking for. The quality you expect. The prices you need and deserve. Feel the love. Save more at Save More Drugs.
Grand Bahama Subs has been around since February 2021, right after the pandemic. So my business partner and I, we wanted to kind of get people eating right again and get people healthy again. So this is what we came up with. Grand Bahama Subs is a healthy food eatery. We carry a large variety of different meats. Also, you can order from our seafood menu. We have a signature sandwich, which is our tropical conch maboy. That's all conch, along with our secret recipe, of course. Also, you can order a garlic shrimp pizza, and seasonal, we do have a Parmesan lobster sandwich. Recently, we introduced our rice bowl, so that's a hit. You must come down to try that. Okay, so we are located at the Raven Mall, and it's food court number 6. Our number is 602-6651.
Grand Bahama, the pageant capital, will play host to the hottest youth event of the year. It's the 2026 Exquisite Catamaran Center's Miss Teen Universe Bahamas Preliminaries. Under the patronage of Minister for Grand Bahama and MP for Pine Ridge, the Honorable Ginger Boxey, the most beautiful girls from around the family of islands will compete for the big opportunity to wear the coveted crown. Come and witness the stage heat up in national costume, swimsuit, evening gown, and talent, and a special appearance by Exquisite and Citrus Bahamas pageantry system. It all goes down at the Regency Theater, Friday, April 10th, 7:30 p.m. Admission at the door, $40, and $20 for school students 17 and under. Don't miss the event of the year.
Ladies, are you losing the battle of the bulge? You know, you feel sluggish, tired, and them pants just ain't fitting how they used to? Well, that could be a sign of poor gut health. You want to make sure you're drinking lots of water. Also, you want to make sure you're eating your fruits and vegetables. You're getting all your fiber in from those fruits and vegetables, leafy greens, high fiber fruits, all of those. And also, you take a high probiotic foods such as yogurt, sauerkraut, olives, and drinking your kombucha and apple cider vinegar can help keep your gut health in check. And if you need an extra boost, you can consider getting a cleanse. A good cleanse helps to get all that waste that's been backed up in there, get all that waste out, and to help reset your digestive system. Once you do that, you can look at taking a probiotic supplement. They have a high dose of probiotics, which help feed the good bacteria in your stomach and help your digestive health to stay in check. And if you need just a little bit more, you can take actual digestive enzymes. They are the enzymes that help break down the food you eat. You know, if you're someone who's lactose intolerant or gluten sensitive and some of these foods affect you, taking a little extra enzyme can help sort of curb that a bit. So you have less of that gas, less of that bloating, less of those negative side effects from eating those foods. You want to make sure your gut health is in check. Your gut is your second brain. It affects how your whole body functions, everything from your mood, energy levels, and so on. So if you need any of these supplements, you start by the Fitness Connection. Check us out.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
That concludes this edition of the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition. I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest.
I'm Matthew Martin-Burrow.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
You always carry yourself really nice. For a reporter, I guess that's always needed, that you fix yourself up. And so she did a good job of that. And the other thing is, once the brain of mind was made up about something, she was relentless in getting it done, especially when it made sense. She would never stop until she got it completed or was able to get it done. And sometimes that is needed to be forceful with certain things, especially when it could benefit everybody. And that's one thing that's two things that really stood out in my mind about Sabrina. And I'd always remember.
In the Bahamas tonight, the country is on its way to a general election. A writ for the process issued today. The Progressive Liberal Party unveils key commitments for a second term in office, and shovels hitting the ground today for a multi-million-dollar medical facility in the Barry Islands. The Bahamas tonight, the national report starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. The road to the polls now officially underway here in the Bahamas. A writ of election has been issued, setting the stage for a general election and triggering the countdown to nomination day and the national vote. The Chief Clerk of Parliament providing more insight on what constitutional processes come into play once a writ of election has been issued ahead of an impending general election. Here's Fern Carey.
A writ of election has been issued indicating that a general election is imminent. This as Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, has already confirmed that a general election will take place. The move comes following the dissolution of Parliament a day earlier on Wednesday, April 8th. Chief Clerk of Parliament, David Forbes, explains what happens when a writ of election is issued.
All of the committees of the House, everything will fall away. They die. Everything dies in the dissolution, and then you have to have an election.
The upcoming general election is in keeping with the Constitution, which mandates that a general election be held once every 5 years.
Under the last administration, we didn't go to a full 5 years, and under this administration, we're not going to a full 5 years. But after 5 years, the Constitution will dissolve the Parliament by itself if nobody else does it. So you could do it every 5 years. But now, you begin that count at the first meeting of the House after an election. So it technically could be a little beyond 5 years, but not very much beyond 5 years.
The new parliamentary session will be held on Wednesday, May 20th at 10 a.m.
After the election, the date that is set for the first meeting, we'll have an opening of Parliament with all the fanfare, and the Governor General coming and reading the speech from the throne.
A new legislative agenda will get underway once the new parliamentary session begins. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
The Progressive Liberal Party launching its Blueprint for Progress, an updated manifesto from the previous Blueprint for Change. The government also revealing a list of commitments to continue the work in a second term. Lloyd Allen was there.
A crowded room of supporters attended the Wednesday night launch of the Progressive Liberal Party's Blueprint for Progress. Now, among the many speakers were party leader and Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis and Deputy Prime Minister the Honorable Chester Cooper, both speaking on the issue of leadership and definitive changes that the pre-LP promises into the next term of governance.
Out of the 387 commitments we made in our Blueprint for Change, 325 were completed or in progress. And our country is better for it. I am proud to run on our track record. It is not perfect, But we have lifted the country out of the multiple crises we met and put us on a path of growth and positive national development. Those challenging us should be invited to defend their own track record and explain to the Bahamians the many failures of their previous administration. Our new platform, Building on Progress, commits us to building on those existing plans and expanding on our ambition for the country for the next term.
We believe that the last 4.5 years have been incredibly good for the Bahamas. But we must never forget where we were in 2021. We must never forget the feeling of hopelessness, uncertainty, and vulnerability. There was a cry for transformative change. And there was a cry across this country for stable, compassionate leadership. And our Prime Minister answered that call.
Among the many plans laid out, more new home ownership options. This according to PLP Fort Charlotte candidate Sebastian.
We will significantly expand our rent-to-own program that will simplify access and provide essential workers who serve our country every single day with an opportunity to own themselves a home.
Now, while the Blueprint for Progress is slightly amended from the Blueprint for Change, the party promises once elected, they will continue on their work of improving the totality of the country. Reporting from the Harry Seymour Library for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Well, the PSP's plan for greater protection of the country's borders and stronger enforcement of its laws also revealed at last night's Blueprint for Progress launch. For that part of the story, here's Corvell Pyfram.
National Security Minister the Honorable Wayne Munro laying out Wednesday how a Davis administration's second term will mean a strengthening of immigration laws and implementing harsher penalties against violators. With the issue of fraudulent documents like passports and even voters' cards being used as political ammunition against the government, Munro last night was unequivocal in his message to public officers caught engaging in such illegal activity.
If you facilitate passport fraud or document fraud, you will face mandatory penalties of up to 10 years imprisonment. Or fines up to $50,000 or both.
The government, Mr. Munro says, will strengthen the protection of the nation's borders with clear rules, digital enforcement, and real consequences. This will include daily overstay fines from day one. And the government, he says, will procure a national biometric immigration system and deploy biometric e-gates that flag prior deportees and multiple identity fraud with overstay alerts triggered within 48 hours. The government, he says, will also crack down on employer compliance.
Because for every undocumented worker you have, you will pay. The penalties will rise from $5,000 for your first offense to $10,000 for your second offense, and then up to $15,000 plus 12 months in prison for your third offense. In addition, employers who intentionally and repeatedly break our immigration laws will also face a ban that will preclude them from reapplying for work permits for up to a period.
A Davis 2.0 administration will also see to it, the National Security Minister assured, that migrants are required to have migrant health insurance or enroll in a still-to-be-created migrant health insurance scheme.
No longer will our public health care system have to bear the burden on its own.
Mr. Monroe also promising the implementation of a stronger statutory re-entry ban system so that foreign nationals who breach immigration laws will face what he calls real consequences when they try to return to the Bahamas. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pfeiffer.
Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis urging anyone with knowledge of vulnerabilities, irregularities, or individuals engaging in fraud within the country's passport system to step forward and report it to the police. The appeal comes as he acknowledges serious weaknesses in the system, driven in part by human error, which continue to allow fraudulent documents to slip through the cracks despite strengthened enforcement measures. And while oversight has been tightened, the Prime Minister admits the system is not foolproof, stressing that public cooperation is critical to protecting the integrity of national institutions.
We are enforcing our laws. If you know about anyone who is not entitled to have a document that they should have, report it to the police. The police are vigilant. The reason why you know about it is because the police did their job. They were able to arrest someone. So if you know anything about any complaint about fraudulent documents, you have that information, don't just talk about it, report it to the police. The police have a whole team that's been investigating these matters for the last 2 years. That's why we're able to have over, close to 30 or 40 people before the courts now for fraudulent passports.
And still to come, a new partnership to advance the Grand Lucayan Resort. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report.
Step into a life of luxury and convenience with the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card. From earning premium cashback rewards on every dollar spent to enjoying comprehensive travel insurance, shop with confidence, knowing your purchases are protected. Our Platinum Concierge service turns your requests into reality, wherever life takes you. Let the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card be your passport to exceptional experiences. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
John, I just found out that KFC has an irresistible promo.
Crunch into the juicy flavor of the new KFC Wrap Star, a classic made modern that's crunchy, melty, and grilled to perfection for all the journeys of your day. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
2021, borders overrun, gang wars raging, crime out of control. 4 years later, we're stronger. More than 1,000 new police and defense force officers, new interceptors protecting our waters, record numbers repatriated, and with stronger security partnerships, tougher anti-gang laws, and shantytown crackdowns, we're tightening our grip. Stronger borders, safer streets. This fight is never finished.
Everyone hates a dead car battery. Why not get a battery that lasts and has a 12-month warranty and is only $64.50? Intercontinental batteries are made with German technology, compatible with Japanese, US, and European vehicles, and adapts to warm climates. All right, good to go. These batteries are high quality, affordable, innovative, and only available at AID. Visit us online or WhatsApp us at 427-0026. AID, all you really need and more.
You're looking at a shot of Meeting Street in the area of the Ministry of Health heading towards Nassau Street. That shot courtesy of Shane Gibson. A long-awaited promise now turning into progress. Shovels in the ground in the Berry Islands today as Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis led a high-level delegation for the groundbreaking of a multi-million-dollar healthcare facility in Bullock's Harbor, Bamboo Key, the Berry Islands. For residents who have had to travel far and often for basic and emergency care, this development signals a major shift. Here's Desmond Saunders.
The proposed construction of the $3.5 million healthcare facility in Bullocks Harbor signals welcome news for Barry Island residents who have long faced extensive travel by boat or air to access urgent medical care.
Last year, July, I had to get flown out on emergency flight due to lack of medical reasons and facilities to accommodate my medical condition. So the residents of Barry Island, it's very tedious having to get air ambulance if you don't have that, So it's very good.
I think it's going to have a powerful effect on residents in the Great Abakee. We've been needing a new clinic for years.
The clinic will feature a morgue, lab services, and diagnostic care. It will also provide emergency medical services and is strategically designed for access by land and sea. Windus Construction is responsible for the project. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. the Honorable Michael Darville, is pleased to see it taking shape.
It is not only designed for today, but it is also designed for the growth that we anticipate will take place in the Barry Islands. On coming to office, we made a commitment that we would focus on the family islands so that our brothers and sisters in the family islands have access to the same quality health care as we enjoy in the capital and Grand Bahama.
Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, says the groundbreaking is a major step toward ensuring accessible health care in the Barry Islands and is part of a broader vision.
The people of the Barry Islands deserve better. You deserve a facility that reflects your right as citizens of the Commonwealth of Bahamas. You deserve care delivered in a setting built for service, dignity, and respect. You deserve the confidence that your government sees you, values you, and is prepared to invest in you. That is what this clinic represents.
Construction on this 7,000 square foot facility expected to begin in 2 weeks, and when completed within 18 months, it will mark a significant milestone and a new frontier for healthcare services on the Barry Islands. Here in the Barry Islands, Desmond Saunders of Bahamas Tonight.
A new partnership formed to advance the redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan Resort. The government is applauding Concord Wilshire and CTL Maritime, a subsidiary of MSC Cruises, for forging a new partnership to advance the redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan Resort. The resort is being hailed an asset for Grand Bahamas tourism and economic resurgence. The joint initiative is expected to enhance capacity, global reach, and help to provide a modern, competitive resort to generate jobs, expand business opportunities, and strengthen investor confidence in Grand Bahama. Tonight, the investigation into the disappearance of Lynette Hooker is deepening as police zero in on key details days after she was reported missing at sea in Abaco. Authorities have since detained her husband for questioning, while family members continue to press for a more thorough probe into the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. And tonight, his attorney is speaking with ZNS News. Shalia Roll is on the ground in Abaco with the details. Shalia?
Dawn, the investigations into the disappearance of Lynette Hooker intensifies. This as new developments emerge just days after she was reported missing at sea.
I believe something might have happened to her before she was in the water. So I would just like to know exactly what happened to get some closure on this.
Police say the incident happened on Saturday, April 4th, when her husband, Brian Hooker, claimed she fell overboard from an 8-foot dinghy while the couple was traveling in Abaco. Since her disappearance, family members, including her daughter, Carly Alsworth, are calling for a deeper, more thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding the incident.
He was there for over 3 hours. He left, and then after he left, he was asked to return, and he was told that he needed to give additional statements. He was subsequently arrested.
Days later, the focus has shifted to her husband. Local authorities have called Brian Hooker in for questioning, not once but twice, according to his attorney, Terrell Butler, who says her client has been fully cooperative with investigators.
I was told that he would have had an interview in Abaco sometime today. However, late last night, after purchasing my ticket for Abaco, I was told that he would be interviewed in Grand Bahama. So I am here in Grand Bahama waiting for him to be transported to Grand Bahama so that the interview can be conducted.
The attorney is also confirming that Brian Hooker is currently being detained by police, and while there is speculation he could be brought to Grand Bahama to appear before a court, it remains unclear whether any formal charges have been filed.
He has not been charged, and the normal custom is that once a person is in custody, there's a formal interview that is done before any decision is made to either charge or release the person. And so he has not done that formal interview as yet. When he went in yesterday, he gave a statement voluntarily.
Now, LaDawn, as the investigations continue, questions still linger, and the family, they still hold on to hope in this case that shocked the nation. Coming to you live from Abaco for the Bahamas tonight, I'm Shalia Roll.
Thanks a lot, Shalia. Well, Education Director Dominic McCartney Russell confirming to ZNS News that just under 100 retired teachers have been engaged and are now being utilized to provide not only quality education for students, but a wealth of experience and efficiency in classrooms nationwide.
We have engaged them in various disciplines, particularly language arts and math, but they're all over. They're in pre-primary, they're in primary schools, they're in the high schools and junior high as well.
Is it working?
Very well. We've had very little issue with our retired teachers.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Are you better off today? Brave Davis and his cronies are. Extravagant taxpayer-funded trips, a luxury car for Philip, and hundreds of millions in no-bid contracts for their allies. But for us, gas and groceries through the roof, VAT on bread basket items, healthcare broken and unaffordable, and illegal immigrants flooding our communities. While Brave Davis and his cronies keep getting ahead, we pay the price. Under the F&M, that changes, because their job is to work for you.
Near, far, where can I get 3 flavors in one pizza?
In here, at Little Caesars.
Ahoy! Then I'll take it for a great price. It's not madness, it's Little Caesars.
Pizza. 3 flavors, 1 happy you for just $11 VAT inclusive. Now available at all 5 of our locations. Little Caesars Oaksfield, Carmichael Road, East Street Pineapple Plaza, Charles Saunders Highway, and 1 East Plaza. It's not madness, it's Little Caesars. Pizza.
Tasha, what you saying? Girl, right here, rushing to cash, J.S. Johnson. I gotta renew my insurance. Oh, I with JSJ too, but I don't wait in line. I just pay online. Stop it. How you do that? Just email info@jsjohnson.com and say, sign me up for an online service center. They'll reach out and hook you up. You ain't never have to stand in line again. Amen to that. Save time. Pay online. Sign up for J.S. Johnson's online service center today.
Insurance, peace of mind.
Behind every strong economy is a bold entrepreneur, and we're here to support them, island by island. Only Lutheran, we've helped 122 entrepreneurs turn their dreams into thriving businesses. Through over $3 million in approved funding, the SBDC is strengthening Eleutheran's economy by investing in its leading sectors: tourism, food and beverage, and agriculture. No matter the island, every business we support strengthens the economy, starting with yours. SBDC, Bahamas.
At Original Patties, quality is always job number 1. With 2 convenient locations, you have twice the opportunity to enjoy our beef, chicken and veggie patties, escabeche fish, chicken and mutton roti, and our succulent jerk chicken and pork. Choose from a wide selection of tasty pastries, cakes, and breads, or pull up to our 2 convenient drive-through windows for great service with a smile. Original Patties Bakery Limited, Tonic Williams Darling Highway and Blue Hill Road South.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Well, Royston and Malena joins us live for a sneak peek of Access Now. Guys, what's happening this Thursday?
Well, Dawn, it's Friday Junior, as Diane likes to say, and I love that term, Friday Junior, because I start thinking about Friday, start thinking about weekend plans. But as far as Access Now is concerned, we have the AKAs in the building. We're going to be talking about future female leaders. We're very excited to be talking with them about that.
Yeah, you know, I went to school in the UK, so I didn't really have that kind of sorority experience or opportunity, but it's really nice to come back home and see how they continue to give back, even after those college years, and make sure that they're helping to bring up the younger generation and make sure we've still got all these future female leaders getting ready to step up next in line.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, I'm a final woman, so I'm going to leave it right there. Stay with us for Bahamas Tonight. The National Report continues right after this.
Are you better off today? Brave Davis and his cronies are. Extravagant taxpayer-funded trips, a luxury car for Philip, and hundreds of millions in no-bid contracts for their allies. But for us, gas and groceries through the roof, fat on bread basket items, healthcare broken and unaffordable, and illegal immigrants flooding our communities. While Brave Davis and his cronies keep getting ahead, we pay the price. Under the F&M, that changes, because their job is to work for you.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
At Lorix Duty Free, Bay and Parliament, Old Fort Bay, Marathon Mall and Palmdale.
At We Buy and Sell, we help you upgrade your home the smart way, from solar panels and solar lights to strong doors, storm-ready windows, tiles, mirrors, vanity, faucets, and more. Everything you need is right here under one roof. Great quality products, great price, and fast, friendly service every day. Visit us on Robinson Road or send us a message on WhatsApp 242-636-8412 or shop anytime at wbusbahamas.com. We Buy and Sell. Upgrade your home today.
Wait, what you grabbing all these pizzas, boy?
Wait, Marcos, wait. We have a special on all day large, one topping pizzas, wait.
Pineapple.
All.
Pumpkin.
All. Hey, VAT included, but.
I need the $10 special plate.
How many
of them would you like? 20 in it. Thank you so much, man. $10, that's it. The Marcos got that deal, boy.
As voters head to the polls in a few weeks, the Bahamas Christian Council is assembling church leaders to cover and pray for the nation during its national call to prayer vigil tonight. Lloyd Allen joins us live from Rawson Square with this preview. Good evening, Lloyd.
Keeps on keeping us. Well, LaDawn, that's absolutely right. A national call for prayer in its 8th cycle, and this organized by the Bahamas Christian Council. Now, because of the weather, it's impacted the turnout tonight. However, persons like the Prime Minister, other dignitaries, as well as other significant community leaders have converged here at Rawson Square for this very important national prayer initiative. Now, standing here with me is the Vice President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Pastor Mario Moxie. Pastor Moxie, a very important event tonight. Tell us about its significance.
It's very significant for us as a people. We base our country on the fact that we are a Christian nation, and because of that, it's important for us to gather in unity with one another, regardless of our religious background, regardless of our denominational banner, that we come together as one people in prayer, believing God for the safety, the provision, the health of our nation, especially as we face a pivotal time as the general election coming up. You know, we get to cast our votes. Our votes determine our leadership, but it's our prayer that determines our direction. So it's important for us as a people to come together and to pray. And that's what we're doing here in Rawson Square. And what makes this sacred is not the place that we're in, but it's the people that gathered here right now.
Well, some important words there. And again, according to Pastor Delton Fernando, persons like the Prime Minister and others coming out tonight is a sign of solidarity with the nation's leaders as well as the Christian community, that prayers for the nation remain a vital part of our way forward. Reporting here from Rawson Square for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Well, that does it for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
Hi, this is Spence Finlayson, the Bishop of Motivation. I'll piss on Diana Finlayson's last child and host of Immediate Response on the ZNS network. Be sure to tune in every weekday, Monday through Friday, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon for Immediate Response on the ZNS network.
The Hidden Disabilities Sunflower is a globally recognized symbol for persons with invisible disabilities.
The Sunflower lanyard made our journey less stressful, smoother, and more inclusive.
REACH is proud to support the Hidden Sunflower Scheme, which makes the invisible visible. So far, the Nassau Airport Authority and the Nassau Cruise Port are Sunflower certified.
So if you see someone with a sunflower lanyard, always remember to be patient and ask if they need some help. Please be kind and always remember to show respect.
We wish to encourage more hotel operators with amenities such as water parks, restaurants, cinemas, government offices to join this initiative, making the Bahamas a more sunflower-friendly country.
Please feel free to reach out to the REACH office at 328-4123, or you can reach out to the National Commissions for Persons with Disabilities at 396-8700.
Let us stop the one day study.
The government committed to ensuring Bahamian creatives get monetized. Here what the Deputy Prime Minister had to say.
Plus, nearly 30 youngsters ready to enter the job market. Those details straight ahead.
And in sports, we've got the wrap-up of Team Bahamas' 8th straight win at the Carifta Swimming Championships. Stay close for that.
Tonight, Access Now starts now.
Good evening on this Friday, Junior. I'm Royson Jones.
And I'm Marlena Leonard. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, Access Now.
Marlena, what's in a name? Have you ever been asked that famed question? And just for context, today is National Name Yourself Day in observance of that. So if you could give yourself a name or an alias or a nickname, what would it be?
Well, I've had a few nicknames. Jack, like the baby from The Incredibles, used to be one of my nicknames because I'm small, but also like if you mess with anybody I care about, the baby will light on fire. Yes.
I like that.
But okay, if we're speaking about like speaking things to existence,
yes.
My name is Academy Award winner.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yes. What about you?
Me, I've gone by a few names. I think Rolls Royce, Royce the 5'9". And in some settings, maybe Caramel Droplet, but that's for another story for another day. And with that said, let's dive right into the news. The door of opportunity for Bahamian influencers and creatives to generate money from their content is still very wide open. It was about 2 weeks ago when the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, committed his government to identify Bahamian influencers and creators who can help carry public information and public education messages and to allocate intentional budgets for that purpose. Well, today, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper, advanced that commitment.
It's expressed clearly in our blueprint for progress that we rolled out last night, and the reality of where we are is that we are building an ecosystem for creatives in the Bahamas through CAPAS, through support from SBDC, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, the TDC and other agencies of government to ensure that the creative arts and the creative industries are looked at as a great possibility for the jobs of the future, as we're doing with AI and technology and other industries.
Meanwhile, Meanwhile, long before that first interview, before the first paycheck, there's preparation. And today, 27 young Bahamians took an important step toward joining the national job market. Amaya Moss tells us more.
The future of a nation often begins quietly in classrooms, in mentorship, and in moments where young people are given the tools to believe in what they can become. And on Thursday, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture celebrated that promise during its Job Ready Program Awards luncheon, honoring 27 young Bahamians between the ages of 16 and 18 who have successfully completed the ministry's Workforce Readiness Initiative. The program prepares participants for the realities of the working world, equipping them with essential life and professional skills such as communication, discipline, teamwork, and workforce etiquette. Bahamas Trade Commission Chairman Barry Griffin and the Director of Youth, Sandina Neely, reminded these youngsters that programs like this provide them with the support and guidance needed to realize their potential.
The fact that they decided to be a part of this program, they stayed a part of it, they persisted, and now they've passed this program. I think it speaks volumes to their character and the type of people they will be in the world of work.
This program, it's a very quick process, 8 weeks, skill them up, and then send them directly into the workforce. And so that's something that we're very proud of for our 16 to 18-year-olds, because it's a lot of 16-year-olds coming out of high school. And so we have this program just ready for them.
For the graduates, this ceremony represents the culmination of months of growth and where possibility begins to take shape.
It was a good experience. I learned a few new skills that I can carry on with me throughout life.
Well, it's not every day a 17-year-old is hired by a big company to work in a corporate office, so this was a very important opportunity for our youth.
This program proves that investing in today's youth yields effective and successful results. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Amaya Moss.
Still to come, young female leaders being honored thanks to the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. And of course, Diane Dorset has your Access weather forecast on the next side of this Access Now break.
Since its 2022 post-Hurricane Irma reopening, the Ragged Island All-Age School has become a model of resilience, featuring fully solar-powered facilities, spacious air-conditioned classrooms, and an on-site living quarters for faculty. While the school currently serves just 5 enrolled students, making it one of the smallest student populations in the country, student Denitria Wallace says the small environment is a major advantage for her future.
For my career goals, I want to go into a career in STEM, but more specifically engineering. I would like to do mechanical engineering. And, you know, being here, even though I don't have a lot of people with me, it keeps me grounded. I kind of like being by myself, as I have gotten accustomed to it, and I do like being with my family, because I do have sisters, and I find that when I don't have friends to go out with, they right there is a good substitute.
Principal Alice Ramming and students recently welcomed a delegation led by Deputy Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for the area, the Honourable I. Chester Cooper, along with Education Minister, the Honourable Glenys Hannah Martin, and Works Minister, the Honourable Clay Sweeting.
I am personally going to work with your parents, Ms. Ramming, to ensure that you have everything you need at this little school.
I think it's the Andrews, and then the Queen's College, and then the Library Key. Ain't no classes or smaller classes here. That's right. And this is public education. So you are actually having very, very almost one-on-one education. And this is huge and invaluable.
Janelle McIntosh, for Ed Talk.
Spring into action this April with the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Mullis Ready Cut Macaroni, 16 ounces, $2.19. Par Excellence Long Grain or Parboiled Rice, 5 pounds, $3.99. Iceberg Lettuce, $2.49 each. Whole Chickens, $1.99 per pound. Sea Bass Raw Shrimp, $41.50, 12 ounces, $5.99. Starting with Easter and ending with the Regatta, April showers you with savings at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Come and visit us at Shop Smart, 'cause everything is here. Yes,
for you. Toys, clothing, office supplies, appliances, custom cut blinds, bedding, drapes, and rugs. Come and visit us on Mackey Street, 2 blocks down from Wolf Road. Call us at 698-1052. Oh, everything is here.
Are you better off today? Brave Davis and his cronies are. Extravagant taxpayer-funded trips, a luxury car for Philip, and hundreds of millions in no-bid contracts for their allies. But for us, gas and groceries through the roof, VAT on bread basket items, healthcare broken and unaffordable, and illegal immigrants flooding our communities. While Brave Davis and his cronies keep getting ahead, we pay the price. Under the F&M, that changes, because their job is to work for you.
Good evening, Marlena and Royson. It's Thursday, April 9th, and it's time for your Access Weather Forecast. Let's take a look at what's shaping our weather over the next few days. Looking at our satellite picture, we see a broad area of cloudiness just east of the Bahamas. That's moving away from us, and with the stalled cold front now moving into the southeast Bahamas, conditions are expected to weaken as it gradually dissipates. One thing worth noting, though, is that it will turn windy beginning Saturday, and the strong winds will continue all weekend into the middle of next week. Now, how does this play out on the waters? For our boating forecast in the northwest Bahamas tonight through Friday, winds will be northeast at 15 to 25 knots, with seas at 5 to 8 feet. We'll get a low tide at 7:46 in the evening and again at 8:56 in the morning. Now, in the central Bahamas, winds will be northeast to east at 12 to 18 knots, with seas at 3 to 6 feet, and small craft operators are advised to exercise caution. Then moving south in the southeast Bahamas, winds will be northeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas at 2 to 4 feet. Then on Saturday, for all areas, winds will be northeast at 15 to 25 knots, with seas at 5 to 8 feet. We'll get a low tide at 9:53 in the morning, followed by a high tide at 3:46 in the afternoon. Now it's time for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Call the fire engine, run, tell them come quick. I can feel my temperature rising, never could we can creep like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. I shall beat this pint on the good drum and the solo lyric so sweet. Oh, I went to Cat Island to the musical festival. I was always into reggae and rap, never checked for the rake and scream. Lord, I stay with my family up the road.
That was your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. And that wraps up your Access Weather Forecast. But join me again at 11 for a full weather update. Have a great evening, everyone. Marlena and Royson.
I can see you enjoying that good rake and scrape. Thanks, as always, Diane. Now, the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority continue its decades-long tradition of celebrating excellence as it prepares to host its 2026 Honors Day program. The event recognizes and rewards the best and brightest 12th grade female students in the entire Bahamas.
Yes, and joining us live in studio tonight with all of the details are the Honors Day Chair, Diasante Small, and Co-Chair, Gabrielle Conliffe. Ladies, welcome to Access Now.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Now, we're more than 4 decades, I believe, into celebrating Honors Day. What does it mean for Alpha Kappa Alpha to sustain a program that impacts and shapes the lives of young Bahamian women year after year?
It means commitment for us. The fact that we've been able to do this means that it requires a lot of sacrifice, intentional planning, collaboration with the community, and we are committed each and every year to do it and make it happen. It's something we look forward to, and we're very proud of it.
Of course, this program itself, we're seeing scholarships, we're seeing developmental for leadership, we're seeing a lot of input being placed into this. What does this mean for the program, and how is it affecting past honorees long term?
I think it's one of our proudest events that we, put on throughout the years. We see our honorees that we sent off to full ride scholarships.
Wow.
They're in Honors College. They're sending us the pictures that they made the president's list for 2 semesters. Their roommates, they're running for Miss Junior, Miss Senior. So we're seeing that leadership role
carry forward.
Absolutely, that's great to hear.
And now, as someone from Grand Bahama, we get left out of things a lot of the time, but you guys are making sure that you're including women across the entire Bahamas. Why was that so important for you?
for decades, we wanted to make sure that the Eta Psi Omega chapter is seen as a chapter that serves all of mankind and all of the Bahamas. And so every family island has an opportunity, every school, every high school, homeschool even, private school, public school is invited to send their top student. And so we have over 50% now from the family islands, and we're really proud of that initiative and that commitment.
All right.
That's great to
Thank
hear.
you so much. We can't wait to hear more about it. And if anybody wants to find more information, I'm sure they can look at your socials and get all of that good stuff. But it's now time for us to turn things over to the BTC Connection for tonight.
Wow. I mean, just to be called Employee of the Year is amazing in so many ways. I feel like my work that I was doing behind the scenes countlessly made it to the center stage without me even knowing that it would.
So I'm grateful for becoming the Employee of the Year, and I'm going to advocate and speak for those like me to be their best selves. But I still have some goals that I'm looking to cross off, and I'm still going after those. And I still want to make sure that our team and the people around me get that support that they need as well. My goal this year is to ensure that those around me feel inspired and feel motivated to be their best selves and to go after their goals wholeheartedly.
Creative ideas didn't just come to life. They were activated through the bold intervention of the Tourism Development Corporation, an organization that goes beyond funding to fully understanding what it takes for Bahamian entrepreneurs to scale, sustain, and succeed. From tailored training programs and business plan development to website creation and strategic guidance, the TDC is building businesses with intention and impact across the Bahamas.
TDC has an opportunity and has a mandate to develop the tourism industry and develop businesses in that tourism sector. This program, Venture Pitch program, kind of like our version of Shark Tank, gives persons an opportunity to come, present their idea, somewhat in a little pressure environment, but it was something that you're passionate about. Come and present your idea, access some funding that we have available. We want to develop entrepreneurs.
The Bahama Venture Pitch Competition, it was built to unlock opportunity across the family islands and bring capital directly to Bahamian entrepreneurs. Since its launch, 9 competitions have been held across 7 islands, with Inagua up next. To date, approximately $360,000 has been invested into island economies, with $216,000, $24,000 per competition awarded directly to tourism-driven entrepreneurs. This is entrepreneurship rooted in tourism and strengthening economies across the Bahamas.
We say to you, listen, keep it down home, keep it authentic, hone your 5 minutes of sharing the dream that you have with our judges, and really start to really work on that business plan. Get some expert assistance in ensuring, because a huge part of this competition is also looking at what your ideas are in terms of the vision, the problems that you are solving, the solutions that you have, and of course, how economically viable those things are. Because having a dream is one thing, but really putting in the labor-intensive strategy around how you're going to bring that to fruition is also as important.
If you have an established tourism-related product or business, or even a concept ready to be refined, the opportunity exists. The Bahama Venture Pitch Competition proves that investing in Bahamians is investing in the Bahamas.
A storied party falling apart. F&M's fleeing. Chaos. confusion, even court battles. What's happening with the F&M is sad, divided, directionless, dysfunctional. The ones left behind won't admit it, but it's chaos inside. They say a fish rots from the head down. If Michael Pintard can't keep his own party together, how can he run an entire country?
Bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding ding dong. Bang bang bang. Ding bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding ding dong. Bang bang bang. Ding bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding ding dong.
Near. Far. Where can I get 3 flavors in one pizza?
In here, at Little Caesars.
Ahoy! Then I'll take it for a great price.
It's not madness, it's Little Caesars. Pizza.
3 flavors, 1 happy you for just $11 VAT inclusive. Now available at all 5 of our locations. Little Caesars Oaksfield, Carmichael Road, East Street Pineapple Plaza, Charles Saunders Highway, and 1 East Plaza. It's not madness, it's Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Here at Solomon's, we don't just believe in great brands. We believe in creating unforgettable memories and celebrating everyday living with you and your family. Every aisle is filled with all you need. A great value with variety and a selection of all your favorite groceries and products. Saving you time and keeping you on a budget. Great food changes everything. Shop at your local Solomon's for food, for family, for you.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sports and Access now on this thankful Thursday. I'm Charles Fisher. Thankful, yes, the champs are back. The 8-time Griffith swim champs returning home to a hero's welcome at the Lyndon Pindling International Airport on Wednesday. The banners were out, the cheers were loud. Let's take some pics with the champs.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Amajal Knowles was with the team in Martinique for the big splash and gives us a recap on the final night of competition.
On Tuesday night, the Bahamas further cemented itself as the premier junior swimming program in the region, securing an unprecedented 8th straight Griffith Swimming Championship. Final day of competition at the Pierre Samar Aquatic Center in Fort-de-France, Martinique. A look at the medal performances. Girls 11 and 12 50 free. Isabella Munro taking gold. It'll be a 1-2 punch in the boys 13 to 14 50 free. Kriston Joseph taking gold and Dexter Russell taking the silver. Girls 15 to 17 50 meter free. Team captain Zoe Williamson would secure a gold medal and would give this emotional interview after the feat.
For the 50 freestyle, I had to focus on myself. Usually I breathe a lot more than I usually did, and I usually look at other people to see where I place myself. But for that 50, I made sure to keep my head down, to keep myself focused, and to finish into the wall hard, because it's one of the things I do best.
Girls 11 and 12 100-meter breaststroke, Sarah Seymour and Isabella Munro taking silver and bronze. Girls 13 to 1400 breaststroke, Isabella Kirkulo securing the silver. Boys 15 to 1700-meter breaststroke, gold there from Tristan Hepburn. And over in the relays, the Bahamas securing gold, and the girls 11 to 12 200 free, and the boys 13 to 14 200 free. They then would tack on a bronze, and the boys 15 to 17 at 200 free. 242 with a final medal tally of 55, 21 gold, 13 silver, and 21 bronze. The standout performer would be Kriston Joseph, who would take the boys 13 to 14 high point total. Ronald McPhee, the head coach, says despite a slow start, the team was resilient.
Yeah, man, I just told them, stay together, stay focused, like one race at a time. They're prepared for this for many, many months and years, right? We have, I just told them, man, have some fun, let's get out there and let's race. And, they came out, they stuck together. Our team captains did an excellent job, keeping our younger ones. And, once those 11 and 12, the younger swimmers saw the seniors stepping up, getting some medals, making finals, and then trickling down.
Echoing a similar sentiment was Bahamas Aquatics president, Algernon Cargill.
About is that the team pulled together. We knew coming to Martinique we would be in a very, very close fight with both Jamaica and Trinidad, and we expected Cayman to be up there. Nevertheless, the team showed that what we as Bahamians are very proud. We came in as a 7-time defending champions, and we were determined to win Carifta, irrespective of all the odds that faced us.
As for where the Bahamas will hope to defend its crown and pick up a 9th straight title, we'll hear more about that story in tomorrow's Sportscast. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Amajal Knowles.
Meantime, the track and field team returned home late Tuesday evening, was hosted by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture on Wednesday, where they heard from Sports Minister, the Honorable Mario Boleg.
I want to take this opportunity to congratulate each and every one of you athletes, coaches, and executive of B3As who made up Team Bahamas, and of course, the number one support you had behind you was your parents, who was there on the trip. So I say congratulations to each and every one of you. I know some of you might have tried your best and didn't get a medal, but it didn't matter if you get a medal. You made the Team Bahamas. And when you wear these aquamarine black and gold, we are always proud to see those colors. I wasn't there with you this year, and this is the first time in 4 years that I did not travel with this Carifta team. Of course, Judy's calls and I could not make it, but I want you to know, every time I had an opportunity to look, watch it on the live link or watch it on television, I was there cheering for you.
With that said, back to the swimmers, who were also invited to the ministry today, but the showing was not supportive as only a handful came out. Boleg addressing the issue.
The ministry moved early to coordinate welcome arrangements for this team's return. No concerns were raised to us at that stage. In my absence and in the absence of the Director of Sports, who was unwell, senior representatives of the ministry attended the airport to welcome the team. Upon arrival, they were advised that their presence would be unnecessary. That too forms part of this record. Our athletes deserve clarity. They deserve fairness. They deserve a conversation grounded in facts. And they deserve a country that keeps the focus where it belongs, on their achievement, their work, and their future. Any suggestion that political engagement took priority over the recognition of these young people would be inaccurate. I would never place my engagement above welcoming home a team that continues to carry our flag with honor and distinction.
You will continue to follow this story. But that's going to be it for Access Now Sports. I'm Charles Fisher. We'll have much more coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
Some burgers are simple. The Barbecue Crispy King, this one goes all in. Smoky barbecue sauce, crispy bacon, flame grilled beef, stacked high flavor in every bite. In Nassau, we don't do small, and we definitely don't do boring. And when morning hits, the Breakfast Barbecue Crispy King has that bam to start the day. Burger King Nassau, triple down on big flavor.
Daisy Wild is inspired by nature. It immediately transports me to the heart of a lush green forest. Vibrant green banana blossom opens this fragrance to reveal a heart of blooming jasmine and creamy macadamia. At the base, sandalwood and vetiver create a beautifully addictive backdrop. Embark on a new adventure with Daisy Wild.
Available at Lorix Duty Free, Bay and Parliament, Old Fort Bay, Marathon Mall and Palmdale.
Grand Bahama, the pageant capital, will play host to the hottest youth event of the year. It's the 2026 Exquisite Catamaran Center's Miss Teen Universe Bahamas Preliminaries. Under the patronage of Minister for Grand Bahama and MP for Pine Ridge, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, the most beautiful girls from around the family of islands will compete for the big opportunity to wear the coveted crown. Come and witness the stage heat up in national costume, swimsuit, evening gown, and talent, and a special appearance by Exquisite and Citrus Bahamas pageantry system. It all goes down at the Regency Theater, Friday, April 10th, 7:30 p.m. Admission at the door, $40, and $20 for school students 17 and under. Don't miss the event of the year.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at a service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you could be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk or catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in the car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
You're looking at a shot of the Blue Hills Sporting Complex golf course. The 9-hole public course opened in 2013, and that shot is courtesy of our drone pilot, D. Shane Gibson. And it's time now to take a trip to the Berry Islands. Let's go.
Thanks so much for that great shot. Very familiar with the course, and a special shout out to the Golf Federation and Mr. Craig Flowers for facilitating so many generations of golfers. Meanwhile, in the Berry Islands, a simple meal making a powerful difference. This morning, Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, led a delegation to the R.N. Gomez Comprehensive School on Great Harbor Key to get a first-hand look at how the National School Breakfast Program is helping to drive student success.
The idea here is to see how it's working, how it can be improved, and we intend, as we heard last night from the minister, to expand this to the junior high school. When we came into office, the minister readily recognized that all the schools were closed. They had to be open. And when the school was open, we were not finding our children in school. The minister took it upon herself, put on a tennis, and was walking into communities to bring children back into school. And in that exercise, she discovered that part of the challenge is that our children were not coming to school because of the lack of nutritious breakfast.
Of course, that program making a real difference. And before we close, a special congratulations to Team Carifta for bringing home 30 medals. Congratulations on that.
Oh yeah, making us proud. And that's all we have for you for tonight. But stay tuned for the rundown on leadership with Ahmad Rashad Thompson. Good night, everybody.
In Harbour Island, North Hillsborough, I'm Charles Fisher. This is ZNS.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, leaders from all generations, good evening and welcome to the Rundown on Leadership. This is a space where leadership is not performed, it is interrogated. Where systems are not protected, they are examined. Where growth is not assumed, it is demanded. I'm your host, Ahmad Rashad Thompson, and I'm so excited to be with you tonight. I would like to take this opportunity, as we do every week, to express my sincere appreciation for your continued engagement. I'm grateful that you continue to choose depth over noise and insight over impulse. Your engagement matters because this program was created for serious leaders. Leaders who understand that responsibility is not seasonal. It is structural, and we know that you could be anywhere on a Thursday evening, but week after week you choose to run it down with us, and we are indeed grateful. Now, before we go further tonight, I want to reframe something for you. Most leaders say they want growth. They say they want innovation. They say they want transformation. But very few leaders truly want transition, because transition is uncomfortable. Transition disrupts competence, it exposes culture, it tests alignment, and it magnifies leadership gaps. And it reinforces reinvention, not eventually, but immediately. You see, stability hides weaknesses, but transition reveals them. Anyone can manage continuity, but only disciplined leaders can steward change without losing credibility in the wayside. And here's the tension. When systems change, people feel it. When processes evolve, culture reacts. When innovation accelerates, resistance surfaces. So the question becomes, how do you lead when your organization is mid-transition? How do you protect trust while modernizing infrastructure? How do you evolve without destabilizing? And what version of you shows up when your leadership is being tested in real time? Now, as we enter the month of March, a month where the world pauses to recognize International Women's Day, we are reminded that leadership continues to expand in representation, visibility, and influence. But tonight is not about symbolic celebration. It is about substance. It is about what it takes to carry responsibility at scale, especially in seasons of organizational change. Tonight's episode is titled Leadership in Transition, Navigating Change, Culture, and Innovation. And here to run it down with us tonight is Ms. Rexy Roll. She's the president and CEO of Western Air. She is a leader guiding a legacy organization through significant operational transformation in one of the most demanding industries in the world. This conversation is not about titles, it's not about executive decision-making under pressure. It's about culture during disruption. It is about innovation that does not fracture trust. And it is about leading people, not just processes, through change. Whether you lead a team of 5, an organization of 500, or you are preparing for your next level of responsibility, you will encounter transition. And when you do, charisma will not sustain you. Clarity, structure, emotional intelligence, and strategic discipline will. So tonight, I challenge you to lean in. Tag a leader, share this broadcast, invite someone into the conversation, because we are not here to observe leadership. We are here to refine it. This is the Rundown on Leadership, ladies and gentlemen, and your breakthrough is right after this break. Stay close.
Bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding ding dong. Bang bang bang. Ding bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding ding dong. Bang bang bang. Ding bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding ding dong.
I am a master plumber by profession. I've been doing plumbing for over 40 odd years. When I was 9 months old, I was diagnosed with polio. To me, living with polio, I took it the way it is. I never allowed my polio to get in my way of anything. In fact, I love when people doubt me, and I just prove them wrong. And let me tell you, in the world, you could only find a plumber as good as me, but you ain't gonna find no plumber better than me. People with disability, they just need a chance. In this program, I feel so encouraged. Most of the mentors have different kind of disability, but disabilities like me. Sharing and caring and showing so much support with people with disability. They would encourage you to go beyond. I wish this was around a long time ago. Right now, I would have been a millionaire. You out there who have a disability, don't be afraid. Take the step. If you believe it, you could achieve it. And remember one thing, ain't no one better than me, and ain't no one better than y'all. God made all us equal.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us tonight, my guest is Ms. Rexy Roll. She's the president and CEO of Western Air, one of the largest privately owned airlines in the Caribbean. Rexy is also an aviation and corporate attorney, and in that capacity, Rexy also provides oversight over Western Air's legal and regulatory affairs, representing the airline and aviation, government, and commercial matters. Rexy, welcome to the show. It's a great pleasure to have you with us tonight.
I am happy to be here.
Indeed.
Long time coming, but we're here.
We've been trying to get you here for a while. But we're finally going to run it down tonight. And I think it's very timely as we celebrate Women's International Day and Month, as we celebrate Women in Aviation Week. It's important to have this representation, I believe, on this platform to help anyone in leadership understand what it takes. And beyond those token moments of celebration, we also want to focus tonight on what it means to really lead through transition.
Right.
So Rexy, many people underestimate and over-glamorize leadership. If you survey your journey thus far, how would you define leadership, and did that definition evolve over time for you?
Definitely. I think for me, leadership is about service and it's about stewardship. And so I think when people think about leadership, they automatically think you get to boss people around.
Yes.
And it's really the other way around. It's really, you become a servant to, in my case, the passengers, the customers that you want to make happy, and of course, to your team.
Yes.
So it's really about sort of hearing upward rather than downward.
That's good. Hearing upward rather than downward.
Yeah.
So many leaders mismanage that perspective that they believe because they've arrived at the place of this pinnacle role in leadership that they must talk downward and hear downward only. They can't hear upward. Why do you think that perspective is important to maintain at this level of leadership, hearing upward? Why is that important?
Yeah, because I mean, when you're in a service-based field, you realize that ultimately it's the people that you have to satisfy. And so who has the closest attachment to the people? Your people. And so it helps to sort of understand their thinking and their way of doing. We have a open door policy, or I have an open door policy that I can speak with anyone from any department, whether they've been there with us for 20 years or for 2 months. If you have a great idea, I want to hear it.
Wow.
And so that really helps open the door and conversation for a lot of discourse. And to be honest, it's beneficial for the organization because now I take those ideas and we take the feedback and we're always pushing to improve thereafter.
Indeed. If you have a good idea, I want to hear it. We're going to come back to that point a little bit later on in the show. But when you became CEO, it meant that you joined the ranks as one of the few female airline CEOs globally. When that reality first settled in, Rexy, what did it mean to you personally and professionally?
Yeah, it was certainly a big moment. You know, obviously this is a family organization and the family aspect of it is an important part of our history. But I also feel that there's so much beyond that at this point because we have such a commitment to the public that we have made. And I think at that moment it was, because ironically, that same week when Western Air announced that Japan Airlines had also, you know, named their first president, woman president. JetBlue had just named their first woman CEO. So I felt like I was in good company. And
maybe they were in good company first.
Yeah, but I also recognize that, you know, it's not just about what we're doing here. There's a shift that's happening and people recognizing that women are just as capable when it comes to leadership roles in aviation.
As we talk about that, I want to ask you directly, do you believe, Rexy, that your experience in leadership is different as a woman? Have you had to navigate things that a man normally would not in this space?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, women leaders are sort of more scrutinized. There's a lot of tone policing. How she said that, I didn't like how she said that, or perhaps they're, you know, policing what you wear or how you act or how you present yourself. And I think that has a lot more to do with being a woman. I embrace that though. I'm very firm in being authentic to who I am. I'm gonna dance on social media. That's not gonna stop. You know, but also it definitely allows for a different experience than perhaps my male counterparts.
I want to explore that a bit more. I think we've been conditioned to be seen and not heard. Right, to speak when we're spoken to, that's both male and female. But specifically for the female gender, the women in our lives have been taught to only be strong when they had to. Right? Versus being strong and a strong representation of the gender in any facet you find yourself in. How have you been able to navigate not losing Rexy as you emerge as CEO and even transition in leadership as you were coming up?
You know, I think I've been validated by the people that matter the most to me in terms of my parents, my grandparents. They have really instilled in me to be true to who I am and be firm in whatever it is my conviction is at that moment. So I am grateful to have a very small support system that still reminds me that it is okay to be yourself. And so in my mind, I've been programmed that I'm rewarded when I am myself. And so, and also, you know, being visible, I connected with a lot of other individuals who like, oh, I'm an engineer, but I also love fashion, and I'm starting a new clothing line, and I'm doing all these things. And I realized that, you know, women especially, we are so multi-dimensional. And so why are we just showing one side of it? It actually helps in business to be sort of an open book and show these various factors of who you are.
As you were coming up, Rexy, as you were moving from, ascending from leadership role to leadership role, your transition from vice president to CEO, what was that like for you? Did you always have your eyes set on CEO for the company? Did you always envision that being your ultimate space in the organization? What was that transition for you as you moved into that role?
Yeah, not at all. I to be honest, not at all. I think I was quite comfortable being VP of operations.
Wow.
I was content in that. And I had felt that I, you know, had taken on quite a bit of the CEO role from earlier on. But I think once that change happened, something surprising happened in terms of I realized, oh, there's no safety net.
Wow.
I think I had enjoyed the concept of there was an appeal process, that I wasn't, the buck didn't stop with me.
Right.
You know, and I would say, well, you'd have to talk to him. Now, I don't really have that luxury of doing that. The buck really does stop here. And so I felt the heaviness of that very, very quickly.
Yeah. When do you realize that, wait a minute, the buck does stop with me? How do you navigate that space, Rexy? Because I think that's an opportunity we can never really be trained for or prepared for.
Yeah.
When you really realize, wait a minute, there's nobody else to say this belongs to him or her.
Yeah.
When it really does stop with you, what is the weight of that? How do you navigate that weight?
Yeah. I stay really focused on getting the work done. That might be a bit cliche, but I've always felt that you can't be too focused, for example, on recognition or accolades. Focus on what you're actually producing. What is the service that you're producing? And those other things and everything will work itself out once you have a focus. And so I sort of come out every once in a while and do my little thing, but beyond that, those that know me know that I'm like in it, and I'm constantly
getting it done.
Getting it done. I have a very strong work ethic, and that has helped me a lot.
Got it. Leading an organization of this size, Rexy, is no joke. And I think people sometimes, again, underestimate what it takes to lead at this level. But you're leading your organization through one of the most demanding changes it's ever seen in a most demanding industry. What's one leadership lesson that you've learned at this level that you've been taught this season as you transition at this point?
Yeah, I would say the lesson has just been consistently reinforced, which is that you have to be adaptable. We have experienced a lot of growth, I would say, in the past few years. And with that comes a lot of additional things that you have to do to grow along with that. And so being able to be flexible, being able to listen and sort of process feedback, healthy feedback, it has been just sort of a reinforced lesson, if you will. It's not necessarily something new. I always know in the travel industry you have to be aware of market trends and be flexible, but it was just reinforced that, particularly now.
What has been something you've had to unlearn as you became CEO of this company?
Yeah, I think I used to take a lot of pride in being extremely hands-on. Plot twist, I still am. Still am very, very hands-on, but I had to unlearn the idea that I should do it all. I think you really have to spend time in training and developing quality people to know and allow them to do their thing and be good at what they're doing. And so that's also more so in the phase where we're going into, where we're really developing a lot of good talent in our organization.
Yes. You talked about three things that stood out to me so far in our time together. You said, if you have a good idea, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
You mentioned listening upward, hearing from the people that you serve as their leader, and then developing quality talent.
Yeah.
There's a difference between talent and quality talent, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
What have you found to be, why have you found that that's important to lean into, to listen, to receive those good ideas and that feedback, and also, how do you separate all feedback from good feedback? because all feedback isn't necessarily going to help you to get better, right?
Right. Genuinely cares about the organization or the operational flow, and they just want to see it better, whether that's a passenger feedback or whether that's internal. And so once I sort of sniff out what the intent is, I'm more open to understanding and hearing, well, what exactly they're saying. And so once I look more into that, I've just seen it work in terms of when you do get suggestions from people in various parts of the organization, sometimes it really works.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm a big picture person, meaning I'm looking at the overall operations. So I may not be as close to the ground or as close to any particular department and know the ins and outs of how they're doing certain things. So if they have determined and suggested something, I'm definitely going to hear it out, and I've seen it work. Yeah.
Good. When you think of 13-year-old Rexy, right? Is there a difference in who you are now? Obviously there is a difference, but in terms of your character, your morals, your values, the things that shape how you view this role as leadership, what has shaped that journey from 13-year-old Rexy to now? What has really determined how you show up as a leader in this world today?
You know, I was telling my mom on my way here, I believe I was around 13 years old. This was the last time I was in this building.
Wow.
And I came to ZNS to pitch a show.
Wow.
About like teen music or something like that I was doing. And it was sort of a surreal moment coming back here.
Wow.
But in the capacity that I am. So I say that to say, I've always been ambitious. I've always felt like there's a lot more in this life for me to do, and that hasn't changed. What I do now know is that from 13-year-old Rexy who thought, you know, maybe I would be the fifth member of Destiny's Child, to now this person, I'm so much more focused on others than I am myself. And I love that for me.
That is, I love that for you too. That is so good. I love that for leadership. I am so much more focused on those that I get to serve versus me, myself. And I think if more leaders could adopt that mindset, if more leaders could figure out, it's not about me, it's about the people that get the privilege and honor to serve, this world would be a vastly different place.
Yeah.
As we move to break, Rexy, I want to ask you a question. Is leadership at this level lonely?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Talk about that.
I couldn't say it fast enough. Absolutely. It is. It's isolating. But it's not a complaint, it's just a reality.
Yeah.
There's not many people that understand all the dynamics that come into play with this sort of life. And so, you know, I thank God I have a very strong prayer life.
Yes, yes.
And a strong mental health. So we're good.
Indeed, indeed. As you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, our conversation is just getting started. We are going to go even higher when we return. We're going to talk about innovation, transformation, and change management. What does it look like what does it take to drive innovation and transformation in a legacy organization? Does it take a toll on the leader? Stay with us to find out, because your breakthrough continues after this break. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales here at CBS Bahamas. When it comes to hardware or home improvement items, we guarantee the lowest prices. That's our price match guarantee. If you find anything we sell for a lower price anywhere in the Bahamas, let us know about it. We will beat that price. We want your business. Shop at CBS Bahamas or cbsbahamas.com.
Behind every strong economy is a bold entrepreneur, and we're here to support them, island by island. On Grand Bahama, we've helped 486 entrepreneurs turn their dreams into thriving businesses. Through over $14.4 million in approved funding, the SBDC is strengthening Grand Bahama's economy by investing in its leading sectors: food and beverage, tourism, and fishing. Every business we support strengthens the economy, starting with yours. SBDC Bahamas.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, my guest tonight is Rexy Roll. Rexy serves as the president and CEO of Western Air, and tonight we are talking about leadership in transition. Now, Rexy, Western Air is at a pivotal point and moment in its evolution. What was the strategic purpose behind migration from one system to another, and how do you balance preserving the legacy without really destabilizing what's been in place for so long?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, scaling an organization like Western Air or like any airline can be very complex because you want to hold on to the things that people love about the organization, while at the same time recognizing that because of the growth, you have to do things slightly different. I don't know, you know, people generally recognize that Western Air carries a lot of traffic, over 350,000 passengers a year. And so we service 10 destinations, and we're consistently growing. And so for us, the system that we were in served its purpose, but it was clear that we had reached our limits as to where we could go. And so we know that we needed to be in or have a system provider that we can actually grow with, and that could be globally recognized and give us an ability to connect with other carriers, connect with other organizations, and also just do things a bit differently and more standard, more global airline standards. And so we went to sort of from a normal booking system, which was very simple. Our team loved it, to something that is more complex, but it is more aligned to global airline standards. And so as a result, we had to move to that type of structure.
When you think of the decision-making process, right, when you are at the point of realization that we have to evolve, we have to grow if we want to remain sustainable and lead the charge in this industry, there comes a moment when you have to sit with yourself and the options that are in front of you and say, you know what, this is the best one. And then beyond making the decision, it's communicating the decision. What has that process been like for Rexy and your leadership team? What has it been like to say, here's what we have in front of us, here's what we feel is the best thing to do, and here's how we're going to communicate that to our teams now who have been in the system for a long time?
I mean, I like to do things in phased approach. So nothing was sort of brought up and a surprise to anyone. We had been looking and demoing so many different systems over the past year and a half. And so this wasn't a decision that was taken lightly. Any sort of, if you've gone through any type of system change, you know it's gonna drag you.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that's what it did. But we survived, and now I truly believe we're going to continue to thrive in that system. Anything that is new can be a bit scary, but what we did was we took the time and worked with each department. We started with our managers, and we had different training sessions and sort of navigated throughout. But even all of that preparation, nothing is like the day of.
It was live.
And I remember when we switched over, I was actually at the ticket counter. And I don't think I left the ticket counter for a week.
Wow.
Because we just wanted to ensure that things, you know, went properly. And nothing prepares you for a real system change. But, you know, it was my first one, and I've spoken to other people in other airlines around the world, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. We've done it. We know what it's like. You'll be fine. So we will be fine.
Now, that point about being on the counter for about a week, that can be seen in so many different ways, right? I want to understand it from your lens. How did you see, why was it important that as you led that charge, you were also in that charge? Why was that important for you?
I had to have my team's back, and that's what I felt. If they were unsure about something, I wanted to be there to know that they were now clear on it. And so I didn't want someone, you know, telling me what they said and this and that. No, I wanted to be there. I wanted to see and feel how the system was going to work. And, you know, initially there was quite a bit of hiccups. And so all of those things had to be worked out. And we had, you know, representatives from the provider there with us for a few weeks. And we were, I was arguing with them. I was telling them, this has to be fixed. This needs to change. Our customers are used to this. I was advocating, not just for our, you know, our customers, but also our team. Like, we want this to be, you know, more efficient. And so we realized that with any new system, you have to customize it for you. And so that's an ongoing process. And now I would hope that they see and feel that it's much smoother.
So earlier you talked about the fact that if there's a good idea, you want to hear it. You want to listen upward. Beyond technology, Rexy, how do you cultivate a culture where that good idea is welcomed, heard, and potentially enacted or activated? How do you cultivate a space where people feel empowered to challenge things that are maybe foreign or may feel foreign? How do you make that the reality in Western Ave versus just a thought or a concept that we've explored on paper?
So that open door policy, I live that, breathe that. And so as I walk through the different stations, I ask. I ask questions, I talk. You know, I also find out how everybody's family's doing, or how what's up with some secondary business they got going on. But also at the same time, I would say, actually, for example, one of the ground support acts, oh, I saw we're going cashless. We are going cashless, March 31st. And so I was like, yeah, what do you think about that? And so we had a full conversation about his thoughts on it. Now, that's not his department. He doesn't, he's not out on the front counter, but it was insightful to see how he looked at it. And so that's really how we create that culture of allowing people to feel comfortable to speak up. I do want to hear their opinions.
Absolutely. What do you think is the biggest barrier, Rexy, to innovation inside organizations? What is the, you know you have to innovate, there's a problem you want to solve, what is the biggest barrier between getting the problem solved and identifying the problem?
Yeah, I would say the biggest barrier would probably be the resistance to change. You know, again, we have, you know, a wide variety of people in our organization, some of which who have been there, you know, longer than even I've really been involved. And so pushing back a bit on them being maybe uncomfortable with the idea of change can be sometimes a barrier. And so what it does allow you to see is that, you know, that some people welcome it and open to it, and they tend to thrive in new challenges, and others take a bit longer to evolve to it.
Indeed. At this level, Rexy, speed matters. You gotta be quick, you gotta be prompt, you gotta be on it. But wisdom also matters as well. How do you personally balance the need to act quickly, but to act responsibly and wisely as well?
Yeah, well, while you want to make a wise decision, everything is time sensitive in the airline space. Because sometimes a decision is no longer wise if you took long. So
wait a minute. Hold on. You gotta write that down. Sometimes a decision is no longer wise if you took too long to make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a word, Rexy.
You know, sometimes, you know, we're talking to...
Hold on, that's good, that is good, that is good.
Good.
I don't want to interrupt your train of thought, but that is good. Sometimes it becomes unwise if you took too long to make it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I always think back to my conversations. Every day I talk to dispatch and sort of know where the aircrafts are going. You know, are we on time? Are we not on time? What's going on? And so, you know, lots of decisions will come up. Lots of small decisions. And if it is something that is escalated to my point, the time in which it takes for us to make that decision is everything.
Everything.
Because whether you're going to send that aircraft out to Congo Town or out to Exuma matters how long you take to make that decision. If you're going to change out the crew, do it now. You know, we can't wait an hour later and then, because we're having discussion and arguments back and forth. So timeliness is, you know, is key in every aspect of this.
I believe that organizations today are facing one of the most dangerous conundrums in the history of time. It's indecision. Indecision keeps so many organizations stagnant and stuck. It keeps them unprofitable, it keeps leaders ineffective and inefficient. And when you take too long to make a wise decision, it becomes unwise. That is a word. I want you to write that down. Put that on your WhatsApp status. Put that in, open your meeting in the morning with that message, because indecision really, Rexy, is a point of, it means that you're not fully clear on where you want to go. If there's a vision, if there's a focus, you understand anything in the way of that is the wrong decision. Right? And when you can be clear on where it is you want to go, what you want to achieve, how you want to achieve it, who you want to achieve it with, the point between A and B, the decision that needs to be made and what needs to be done is shorter. And if it is that organizations don't understand or be able to communicate what's at stake, if that decision is made in too long a time and too short a time even.
Yeah.
Because that's also too hasty.
Yeah.
You can make the wrong decision and moving too fast. What has been your experience, Rexy, in terms of what have you learned about the culture and your team and its strengths or gaps as you make this transition, as you move from one system to the other, as you transition from VP to CEO, as leadership mindset and viewpoints change, as styles emerge, as personalities differ. What have you learned about the culture and the spirit of Western and your team members over this time?
Yeah, I mean, I have a deep admiration and respect for my team. Obviously, I'm biased, but I do. And I you know, we may be a chaotic bunch, but I love the fact that they are so diverse. And when I mean diverse, I don't just mean, you know, nationality, but I'm also speaking about their personalities and their levels of experience and where they came from. I think our team shows that it has the type of resilience and perseverance and heart. Everyone that I work with closely genuinely cares about the passenger experience. Whether or not that's conveyed, that's what we have to continuously improve, ensuring that people know. But I know that for a fact.
Yes.
Nobody likes delays.
Absolutely.
Nobody likes, you know, when people don't get what they paid for. Like, in fact, I actually don't want your money if you didn't get what you paid for. I'll be so quick to refund if you did not get what you paid for. However, I love the fact that our team has the heart and has a desire to provide that quality of experience. Now it's up to us to actually ensure that people know that and that we do our best. You know, not every day is going to be perfect, but we're all committed. And so I have a lot of respect for our team. I know there's a lot of growth that we need and a lot of things we need to improve upon, especially as we move towards a more global airline industry standards. We've sort of been walking to our own beat. So now we sort of have to continue to do that, but in a more, I guess, refined way.
Understood.
Yeah.
As we transition into the customer experience now, Rexy, right? Because leadership in an organization, especially in an organization like yours, is moving beyond the walls of the organization. It's moving now into the way people are made to feel as they embrace and engage Western Air. Customers feel transitions immediately. They see it, they feel it, they talk about it, they frustrate about it, they are all the things about it. How have you been able to balance transparency while maintaining confidence in the brand, right? As you navigate this transition systematically.
Yeah, I think they taught you in grade school, honesty is the best policy. It really is. I mean, and that's what I stress to my team, that please update, let them know what's going on, be transparent. Because I found that customers are great once they know what's happening. So why are we not telling them what's happening? Just tell them what's happening. You know, if for some reason, you know, crew, you know, got sick or isn't able to come in or came in late, we have to be transparent. Obviously, you want, like you said, to maintain the confidence, confidence of the brand, and I think our consistency will maintain the confidence of the brand. We are dedicated and we are reliable every day. We do this 365 days out of the year, unless there's a hurricane, you know, God forbid. But I say, you know, say all that to say, we know that transparency actually helps. It helps with the customers having more grace with whatever it is your challenge may be that day, whether that's weather, whether that's mechanical, whatever that may be. But it certainly actually helps, so why not provide it?
Absolutely. Now, you're leading a multifaceted team, Rexy. They're multi-talented, multi-generational, and it includes pilots, engineers, ground staff, and customer service teams, each impacted differently by these system changes. How do you effectively lead such diverse groups?
Yeah. I think it goes back to seeing the bigger picture, because I know that because they are in the thick of it every day and just focused on getting those flights out safely on time, getting people and their bags to where they need to be, that they may not see all the accomplishments that they have completed that day. And so I see it on a grand scale, I see the overall volume of passengers that they're moving, the consistency, almost over 10,900 flights just last year.
Wow.
They wouldn't notice that because you're just, trotting along. But each one of those groups, each one of those departments plays such a important, critical part to this organization. And so for me, managing that group is constantly reminding them of the bigger picture, why we do what we do, and making sure that we stay focused on the service that we're providing.
Absolutely. Leaders, this lesson in leadership in transition is truly a masterclass. When we come back, we're going to go even higher into something leaders rarely discuss publicly. That is there a difference between leadership as a woman and leadership as a man? Stay with us as your breakthrough continues after this break. Stay close.
I don't know, but what kind of cars is this parking lot? You ain't even know where to park. Yeah, just don't park in the, look at this way. Like, you ain't get nowhere to go. Don't park, just don't park in the handicap spot. Yeah, that's handicap. No, man, you can't park in the handicap spot. I ain't gonna be that long. I ain't gonna be that long. Handicap spot, boy, what's going on, dog? Man, I tell you we shouldn't park here now. This way parking, man. I tell you we shouldn't park here. Don't get one of these things. My bad big bro, and he got a sticker inside that say this model. We gotta move. This is a handicap spot. That's what we gotta move. But we gotta move. Don't, we can move right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
I get 3 flavors in one pizza.
In here, at Little Caesars.
Ahoy! Then I'll take it for a great price.
It's not madness, it's Little Caesars.
Pizza.
3 flavors, 1 happy you for just $11 VAT inclusive. Now available at all 5 of our locations. Little Caesars Oaksfield, Carmichael Road, East Street Pineapple Plaza, Charles Saunders Highway, and 1 East Plaza. It's not madness, it's Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, you are very, very late. But we welcome you nonetheless. My guest tonight is Ms. Rexy Roll, and Rexy serves as the president and CEO of Western Air. Tonight, we're talking about what it means to lead through transition. And in this final segment, I really want to talk about Rexy the person and how that's been affecting your role as a leader and how your role as leader has been affecting Rexy the person, right? I believe we've been raised to dehumanize leadership. You can't be who you are and be a leader. And you talked earlier about still dancing online and still doing your thing and still being a diva and a fashionista, all of these things. Why is it important for you in your journey as a leader and in leadership to hold on to who Rexy is at her core?
Because I need that balance. It's so important for me to feel like I am exploring multiple facets of my life. And that actually helps me focus. If I am just too rigid on one side, it actually causes me to lose a bit of focus. And so when I'd like to feel that I am being expressive, in whichever direction. Maybe that's music, maybe that's dance, maybe that's just talking fluff talk with the people that I love. But that is a part of the whole character and what also helps me to be a quality leader. Walking through our terminal, a lot of the conversations that I have with my team isn't always work related. Sometimes it's just about life, because we're all a lot more alike than we are different.
Come on, that is so true.
I love connecting in that way because I love to hear people's stories and love to share my own. So it really provides a more holistic approach to leadership.
In your journey, Rexy, what has been the hardest piece of feedback you've received so far?
Pertaining to the operations?
You can take it both ways, operation, but also Rexy the person.
Okay, Rexy the person. I have heard in the past, and I don't know if I believe it, that, you can be a bit transactional. And I didn't like that. Because I feel like I could be. And especially in a boardroom setting, in negotiations, I'm straight to the point. However, when it comes to my personal life, I don't like to feel like I'm so transactional. I would hope that I, you know, make people feel that I actually care and it's not just so one way with me. And so I didn't like that comment, but you know, that was their opinion.
Yeah, and I think it's a part of leadership as well. Sometimes you will hear feedback that does not necessarily sit well, that you don't necessarily agree with, but it doesn't devalue or invalidate that person's experience.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I think as leaders, we have to be mindful that just because you don't see it that way doesn't mean it's not been seen that way before.
100%. And that could have been their experience with me in that moment. So I fully accept that. And it does help you, you know, be more conscious about your interactions with people, because you can have a lot of love and admiration, and maybe that does not translate to how they receive that, right? So, yeah.
Indeed. When you look back on the journey thus far, you have accomplished a lot, you've seen a lot, you've done a lot. What has been the most rewarding part of your journey to date?
Oh. You know, Western Air celebrates 25 years of service this year.
Wow.
We got to do it big.
Yes, yes.
God willing.
Yes.
But we celebrate 25 years, and it's not lost on me that though I don't know where the time has gone, but being able to be consistent in something and being consistently good doesn't mean that you have perfect days every day, but showing up every day is what's important. That to me is the most rewarding aspect of this, that we are a part of people's lives, even if it's just in a small faction. You know, people have a choice, and for each time they choose us, I'm grateful.
Yes.
And, you know, when they use us, we always have to remember, and I tell my team this, when someone flies with us, they are going to do something. They're going to connect with family, they're going to work, they're going to court, they're going to a hospital, they're going to a wedding, to a funeral. So they have decided to invite you into their world for a very brief moment for that service. And I never take that for granted. I never take that for granted. And so, you know, it just motivates us to continue to do better and be better.
Yes. If you are listening with your spiritual ear, if you're listening with your evolved ear, you have heard the way to lead in any room. You have just heard that one answer separates bad leaders from good leaders. Somebody's invited you in to their life as their leader. And yes, they have a bill to pay, they have a mortgage to pay, they have obligations to meet. But when employees show up to your organization every day willing to give themselves to your cause, to support your vision, they've invited you into the journey that they are walking in every day. And when you underestimate what that is, when you consider it as just an employee number or just a passenger seat or just some ticket you've sold, you diminish the chance you get to make somebody else's lives better.
Yeah.
You underestimate the privilege it is to be called leader. And when you think about it as minute as that, as granularly as that somebody is coming to your organization to get somewhere else, to do something different, to experience something different, and by the way, they're going to be served by someone that's also serving you, but you're also serving. If we all considered the role we play on a daily basis as somebody inviting us in to their lives for but a moment, I believe this world would be a much better place. And so many leaders would be better positioned to lead well, to lead better.
Yeah.
You have, I believe, Rexy, done something that some leaders are afraid to do. They're afraid to embrace humanity. They're afraid to embrace mistakes and failures. They're afraid to understand or to put themselves out there as someone who may not have it all together, but still looking for the best in people around them and the best of circumstances around them. How do you encourage leaders who are having a hard time leading as a young person, leading as a female, leading as an island national, leading in a global field, a global industry where other people who may look at you, because there may be other females who may say, she's not female enough, she's not exposed, like she's been in the, like all of these things that come away in the way of leadership, Rexy. How do you navigate that space, all the things that are on you every day as the leader and still do it well?
try not to focus so much on the identity aspect, because when you're focused on the identity, like, oh, I'm so young, they'll never believe what I'm gonna say, they're never gonna just trust what I'm gonna say. If you're focused on those identity aspects only, then it means that that's less focused on the work itself. Once you start to show your colleagues, you know, the other employees in your organization that you are capable of making sound decisions, that you have quality intent and good intent for the organization, and you overall know your work, the results and the reward of it all will show and will speak for itself. And I think sometimes going into a role, you can be so fixated on how are they going to look at me? How are they going to look at me? Take yourself out of the equation and focus on the work itself, enjoy it, get so familiar with it that they're coming to you to ask certain questions because they know you know it. And so that builds trust. Sound decisions builds trust. I started off in you know, coming in with working with a lot of men who were twice my age, and the reality is family or not, what value are you bringing to this organization? Because that didn't matter. What value are you bringing to this organization? And I truly believe that trust was built over time because they saw and recognized my passion, but also my ability to make sound decisions in the moment. And so we collectively would work together on a variety of things, and the work eventually spoke for itself.
What value are you bringing to the organization, to this decision, to this moment, to this assignment, to this task? What value are you bringing every day? It's a question that you should be asking yourself every time you walk into your organization, every time you take on a new responsibility. What value do you bring to it? I believe heavily, Rexy, in personal responsibility and personal accountability. Wherever you are in life is exactly where you choose to be. You can fight me, you can at me, you can do all this stuff to me, but I truly believe that you are the master of your fate. You were sent here to cause something to be better. You were sent to take dominion of the entire earth. But so many people, and especially in leadership roles, diminish their ability and capability because of what they walk into. Because they walk into a space where everybody is twice my age, where everybody is male, where everybody is this and everybody is that. But when you survey your value, when you survey your integrity, when you make sound decisions, when you don't waste time and lollygag and do what's called Dougie McGrammy would say, when people can see that you put your money where your mouth is, things eventually change. We talked about it briefly earlier, Rexy, but do you think, what is more dangerous? Do you think there's hesitation or haste?
I mean, both are dangerous, but I would certainly say hesitation, and it speaks to what we spoke about earlier, in that time sensitivity is real in when it comes to decisions, and especially in my industry, time is everything. And so, as we say, you know, time is money. So for me, hesitation could be a bit more dangerous.
What do you think women, young women specifically, you know what, anyone in general, what do you think people misunderstand the most about executive leadership?
I think that there's a tendency to believe that leadership is about yourself, and it always goes back to who you're leading. You ultimately are here for service and to be a servant. On a spiritual side, I know that God sent me here to be a good steward and to be a servant to those people that I serve. And so I think while leadership can appear glamorous, trust and know there's a lot of heaviness in the responsibility. And so you have to be willing to not be able to turn off your phone, not put it on Do Not Disturb. That's not a thing for me. And so if you're going to look at the glamorous side of it, also look at the heaviness and the responsibility that comes with that. Managing your finances, managing personalities, and managing, you know, ensuring that you are running a safe operations across the board. There's a lot of weight that comes along with that.
If you could challenge organizations watching tonight to examine one unconscious bias about female leadership, what would that be?
Probably the unconscious bias that women are overly emotional. One who said that, first of all, my mom loves to say emotions run the world.
Come on.
So even in business, people go to war on emotions.
Come on, now, in this world today.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's actually very beneficial to have someone that understands emotions, that has emotional intelligence. And even when you are quote unquote emotional, it doesn't stop you from being logical. And so I find that I've experienced issues in business and dealing with different agencies where I was trying to get something resolved, and then suddenly there's a woman leader, and we're able to talk about it, and she's at least willing to hear what I'm saying. And so obviously it depends on the personality and whatnot, but I will just say that in general we have to be more open to the idea that women are just as capable of leading in a way that is not just emotional with heart, but also fully with a logical mind.
Indeed. As you look ahead for Western Air, as you look ahead in your role as CEO, in your life's journey, what are you looking forward to most for Western Air, one? And then two, what are you doing to intentionally prepare someone to take over from Rexy role?
Ooh, we just talked about this.
Good.
You know, I will say there's a lot to come for Western Air, God willing. We are exploring a variety of different routes, but more importantly, I mean, we just want to continue to refine what we're doing today. And I think there's so many different ways that we can do that, and so many opportunities we have yet to tap into, and partnerships and connectivity with, you know, hotel partners, and just offering our clientele more opportunities to travel in a really cool way and a really efficient, easy way. And so we want to just continue to refine ourselves, but also gradually expand and scale. For me, we have not identified someone just yet. However, I do think I am very hopeful with the new talent that we're bringing in. They have a lot of passion for aviation, and I just think that this new generation that is evolving, that we're seeing, even with, I mean, a variety of folks from various talent pools, whether that's, you know, pilots that are coming in, but that are also expressing interest in administration aspects of it. There's so much, you know, and then of course, I have a little brother who has already told me he's preparing to go to ground school.
Wow.
And, you know, he's only in grade 9. but you know, there's certainly not a lack of passion for aviation. So I think, God willing, we will be in good hands.
Absolutely, very good.
Yeah.
Do you believe leaders are born or made?
Ooh. So I believe there are natural born leaders. However, I do also believe that you can develop your leadership skills. And so two things can be true. And so I think there's also so many different types of leadership styles and different types of leaders. And you can recognize natural born leaders, maybe it will come easier to them and they won't have to do as much development. However, it's both.
Indeed.
Yeah.
There's a little girl right now watching you. She has something awakened in her, something jumped, something leaped in her. What do you say to her? She has been believing that her circumstance is her reality. She's seen examples of women that have been striving and women that have been struggling. How do you encourage her to believe that she is capable and will do what she has in her heart to do?
You have to believe that there is a place for you. Don't mind all these people on TV, as cool as they look, and on social media. Don't believe things on social media. What you have to know is that you belong, and you belong in the highest places that you could imagine. And if I could do it, you could do it. We all have 24 hours in the day. It's all a constant decision of what we decide to do with it. Whatever it is, just remember to always focus on your sphere of influence. Sometimes people are so focused on networking up, and they're not expressing their dreams and their visions to the people right around them. Everyone should know what your passion is, because you don't know who that person knows, who that person knows. You are the walking, breathing brand for yourself, for your potential new business. So treat it as such.
Indeed.
Treat yourself as a brand.
Excuse me. That is so good. Ladies and gentlemen, leaders of all generations, tonight we examine transition. And what we discovered is something many leaders quietly resist. Change does not destabilize leadership, it reveals it. Anyone can manage stability. Anyone can protect a system that is already working. Anyone can preserve momentum when friction is low. But when systems are migrating, when culture is adjusting, when expectations are rising, when customers are watching, when teams are fatigued, and when the future demands modernization, leadership is no longer about confidence, it becomes about clarity. Tonight, we learned that innovation is not a threat to organizations. Misalignment is, indecision is. Transition is not without fractures. It's not what fractures trust. Inconsistency does. Modernization does not mean weakened culture. Avoidance does. Because when organizations in transition, there is no room for ego. There's no room for emotional volatility. There's no room for impulsive decision-making. There is only clarity, communication, alignment, and disciplined execution. And here's what I want every leader watching us tonight to understand. Your organization will face transition. Your team will face change. Your systems will evolve. And in those moments, you will be tempted to retreat to what was comfortable. But if you cannot lead people through change, you cannot lead people at scale. If you cannot remain steady when friction arises, you cannot steward the trust. If you confuse activity with strategy, you will exhaust your team without ever evolving your system. Now, as we move throughout this month where International Women's Day is recognized around the world, let's tonight serve as a reminder that leadership is not about who occupies the seat. It is about how they steward that seat. Representation does matter, but responsibility sustains access. Discipline preserves, and progress is not measured by who enters the room. It is measured by what they build once they're inside that room. This is my national charge to you tonight. The Bahamas does not need leaders who fear transition. It needs leaders who can navigate it, who are not interested in symbolic change. We need leaders who want strategic evolution. It does not need louder voices, it needs steadier hands. We need leaders who understand that culture must evolve, that systems must modernize, and that trust must be protected at all costs. Rexy Rule, thank you so much for running it down with me tonight. It was an honor to serve with you this evening. We hope that our conversation has helped you to examine what leadership requires in a season of transition. And to every leader watching tonight, you may not be overseeing a system migration. You may not be leading a national institution, but whenever you are leading, someone is depending on your steadiness, someone is depending on your clarity, and someone is depending on your courage to evolve. So lead like stability depends on you. Lead like culture depends on you. Lead like the future depends on you, because whether you acknowledge it or not, it does. We invite you to stay tuned to the Bahamas at 11 p.m. with Carvel Pyfrom, where we have the final word on broadcast in all things happening around our country. I'm Deshard Thompson for the rundown on leadership. Everyone, until next time, lead with clarity, lead with tenacity, and most of all, lead with integrity. See you next week, should the Lord delay his calling. Take care, everyone.
At the Lyndon Bindling International Airport, I'm Carvel Pyfrom. This is ZNS.
You and Your Money is brought to you by the Central Bank of the Bahamas and FOCOL. At the 2025 Central and South Eleuthera Business Outlook, the theme was Prioritizing Inclusive, Sustainable Growth. Kieron Smith, President and CEO of One Eleuthera Foundation, presented on the topic Driving Community Empowerment and Development.
So people ask me this all the time. What is One Eleuthera? And what does it do? What is CTI? For some, it may be CTI. Others, it may be One Eleuthera. But who are we? Our mission, when we talk about One Eleuthera, it's really about providing support to organizations, entities to assist with further economic development of the island of Eleuthera. And I think that's important because when we think about CTI, which provides training and education to assist persons in finding employment, whether it's entrepreneurship, the whole thing about it is I always see One Eleuthera as the macro organization that's providing support to organizations CTI as the micro that focus on the training and development of people in various areas. So one thing that I want to talk about, in that video you see we have 5 programmatic areas. So in that one video and that one event with Ministry of Tourism, it encompassed so much of Wani Luthra. We talk about the economy, empowering persons who are artisans, craft vendors, etc., to make and earn in Eleuthera. We talk about education. If you notice, there were kids who were pasting and learning a little bit about culture. When you look at the environment, one of the things that we've always promoted is that we want Eleuthera's natural environment to be protected and if it's developed in a sustainable way. And then we also talk about health, which is ensuring that if you want a good economy, you need healthy people. CTI has an interesting model. We call this thing, anybody familiar with nonprofit social enterprise? Anybody? Carlton, I see you're familiar with it, but CTI adopts an interesting model. We have a training farm, training hotel, training restaurant. And a lot of people ask this question, how can a nonprofit have those elements? We have this idea sometimes that nonprofits aren't supposed to generate revenue. And one of the ways that CTI does this is the sole purpose of a social enterprise is to develop a social or address a social issue. And as a result, you will see that revenue is also raised to support that mission, to support its operations. There is no shareholders in that organization or in that company. And this is a similar concept that is done at CTI. So what does that mean? When you look at our model, you see the farm at CTI, you see the hotel, you see Farmer's Table Restaurant. Hope you all enjoyed the food today. And we have the Harbor Island Trade School. And I shouldn't be talking about food. But all of those things intersect our training programs, and persons get to apprentice and learn in those different areas. So how does it work? We have OEF that provides fundraising, support, development. CTI has the social enterprises in which our students learn. CTI also has the courses, the curriculum, and all that feeds into create a community workforce that's skilled and that is ready for entrepreneurship opportunities as well as the employment opportunities. So just want to talk a little bit about impact. And so one of the things that we've done over the last year, anybody familiar with the Cotton Bay Fund? No? Okay, this is why this is important. So Wani Luthra has a fund. It's called the Cotton Bay Fund that provides support to persons who want to go off to school. It provides support to local schools on the island, other organizations. So over the last year, you'd have seen we'd have given about $18,000 from the Cotton Bay Fund for persons who want to go off to school and get scholarships. We've also provided $56,000 in community grants for organizations that applied for funding. We would have provided $263,000 in scholarships through our trade school. That's our trade school in Harbor Island, and that's also our trade school here in the South Campus. And then we would have provided an additional approximately $13,500 in grants to community stakeholders who had projects and programs they wanted to implement. We also have a Learn and Earn program for, well, not just Learn and Earn, but a Learn to Swim program where kids could learn on campus. So it's a summer program, and we would have trained about 287 kids and adults through that program over the last 4 years. And what you would have seen is that 82% of those persons would have seen proficiency in 5 out of 9 areas of swimming. Also, you'd have seen, if you're familiar with us, I want to just jump into that. If you may not be aware, but OEF and CTI, we employ roughly about 48 staff at the moment. We have 503 volunteers that have logged time with us in different areas. And we are now currently providing food, produce, to over 30 stores, restaurants, and hotels across Eleuthera. So I just want to give you a quick snippet. We have a food security project. So some of you may be familiar with our lettuce, tomatoes, greens. And it was a partnership with the TK Foundation where, 1, we said we wanted to make greens accessible, affordable to people. 2, we wanted to make sure that people were trained in the different methods, whether it's hydroponics, whether it's in soil, the different type of hydroponic methods. And lastly, we talk about solar. So our farm is solar, fully solar, and it's also able to store